That's 25% of the games that 100%.
I totally agree with you. He's got to go. He shouldn't even get the Liverpool game. He's got to go. But sack him after the Liverpool game because obviously Spurs will lose. Do you agree with that? Spurs are going to lose.
You can't do it now. It's just too soon. I would have actually said that it could have happened after the Kinski issue in Europe.
Yeah, but
now it's too late.
Will they lose against Liverpool? 100%.
Yes, they will lose against Liverpool. They could get battered as well. But then it's about how do they survive? And I don't want them to survive. I desperately want them to go down.
Yeah.
But I also truly believe that bringing in someone Tottenham for Tottenham, someone who is Tottenham.
Yeah, I do. They do need to do that. I just don't think it'll work. I think it's that bad. But you're right. That is what needs to happen.
Three wins though, Flex. It's such an obtainable goal, isn't it? It's such an obtainable task.
Yeah, it is. We need to hear from Spurs fans. We want to hear from you guys. It is absolute dire straits. We want to hear from you. Are you beyond saving? 03717 22 3344.
If you're taking out form right now, it has to be Harvey Barnes.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he steps on the pitch, I don't think he's going to score. He's so powerful and so quick. When he runs, it's almost like, oh my goodness, you're not catching him.
Yeah.
And that's where Thomas Tuchel, because I mentioned Barnes, Gordon, Rashford, Foden. You then got Palmer. I'm talking about attacking 10 attacking options.
Yeah.
You got Palmer, Saka, Madueke, Bowen, Bellingham can play 10. Rodgers can play left.
Yeah.
I mean, there are going to be some big names on that list that don't go.
Yeah, but annoyingly, out of all of those players, none of them are really smashing it at the moment. Rodgers maybe is doing pretty well. Bellingham's been out injured.
Yeah.
Nothing from Foden.
No,
Cole Palmer's gone a little bit cold.
Yeah. Saka's not, obviously the numbers haven't been there. Madueke's in and out. But
isn't that bizarre? If we were doing this World Cup a year ago, we'd be buzzing with those players.
But, and as I said, Barnesy.
Barnesy, giving the old John Barnesy Barnesy.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes. He's right now he's probably in the best form out of all of them.
On the left-hand side, Rashford was on the bench last night, right?
Yeah.
Who starts for England on the left for you out of those two, Rashford and...
Oh, Rashford would be first, because Rashford for England's been good.
He does?
Yeah.
Does that matter? It's a good point you make. Does that matter? If you're really good for England, but you're not doing it at club level, and some players are like that...
Danny Welbeck was a prime example of that.
Okay. Does your league form matter too much when the manager knows when you put the English shirt on, you perform?
Yeah, I think for certain players, I think it does matter. Because, again, a prime example was the last Euros, not the one in Germany, the one before that, sorry.
Yeah.
Where we was all saying Sterling can't go, his form wasn't there, and he was our best player.
That's a great point.
But you know Sterling's going to get experience. You know exactly that when it's the highest, he can step up.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year, it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
In. It's Derby Day football from the Championship. Here's the corner, left-footed, swung over, and in from Callum Doyle, and Wrexham are in front. Birdie cross in, brilliant chance, and it's taken. Zan Vapodnik, the top scorer, didn't need a second invitation.
Welsh Derby, it's a very special evening for many reasons.
It does have a certain frisson about it.
I expect passion and energy.
Left-footed shot from Kiefer Moore, oh what a strike! Left-footed goal for Kiefer Moore, puts Wrexham in front. That's an absolute stunner.
Good ball in towards Darling, and Harry Darling scores the opening goal for Swansea.
One into the other, the Championship at its best.
Over on talkSPORT 2 tonight, 8 p.m, there is exclusive action from the Championship as Wrexham take on and they host, should I say, Swansea. And on commentary duty will be the former England defender Mickey Gray and your match commentator John Dunn.
Good evening, chaps. Yeah, it's a fierce derby, this one, Wrexham versus Swansea, and both sides making two changes after mixed midweek fortunes. For Wrexham, they recall Owen Rathbone and Issa Kabore to their starting 11, with Ryan Longman and Josh Windass moving to the bench. For Swansea, they're looking for back-to-back away wins. They were winners at Portsmouth in the week by 2-1. Gustavo Nunes and Marco Stamic coming in, with Jay Fulton and Ji Sung-yom moving to the substitutes bench. Mickey Gray alongside me. I think we're the only Englishman inside the racecourse ground, Mickey. There is nearly 140 miles between these two, but this is a fierce derby, and we can feel the tension already.
Oh, without a doubt. I think even coming into the ground today, you know, the animosity is going to be there from both sets of supporters, and it's going to be such an electric game here. But it's one where you're looking at two sides who are obviously vying for those playoff positions, and Wrexham have got to try and sort out their home form in this little run-in towards the end of the season if they're going to stay in those four positions up to sixth spot. And Swansea themselves, their away form is really poor. They're in the bottom 3 in the form table, and they have to turn that around. Two good sides who both like to play football, but there's a lot more at stake tonight, it feels.
Incredible stuff there, guys. I mean, Wrexham having a real good pop at trying to get promoted. I mean, if they win tonight, they can go 6 points clear of 7th place Southampton, which is absolutely huge. But if they lose tonight, they'll have Swansea on their coattails, just 2 points behind it. The Championship is so competitive, we know that. But how much of a big win would it be, guys, for them to put a bit of daylight for themselves there, John, to you know, put themselves in a position to get into the Premier League and cement themselves in the playoffs?
Absolutely, that was such a missed opportunity in the week when they conceded either side of half-time against Hull, another side who are in the playoff mix as well. But it's then the feat of if they could do it back-to-back promotions from the National League to the Premier League is a story that even the documentary makers couldn't have thought of when they started this journey with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Both are in attendance tonight. They've done their pre-match interviews with the TV companies. No sign of Snoop Dogg, though, so we've only got the one side of the celebrity derby here in North Wales this evening.
It's incredible stuff in the Championship. We're living in a world where Snoop Dogg's in it, Ryan Reynolds in it. It's incredible. But Mickey, for Swansea, for Wrexham to get into the Premier League, how much do you want to see that?
Well, I think everybody's been along the journey, haven't they, Flex? There's no question of that. I mean, you know, since the American owners came into the football club, I mean, just seeing them here at the stadium tonight, they mean business. You know, they haven't just come to, you know, add to their name, if you like, in actors. They've actually taken it very serious, and I think the players that they've signed over the last 3 or 4 seasons have just got that little bit better and better. To be in with a fighting chance of one of those playoff spots is probably beyond everybody's wildest dreams at Wrexham. They didn't expect this at all. And how they've just catapulted themselves through the divisions over the last 3 seasons and where they see themselves now. But whatever happens, it's been a fantastic season for them, because I think before this season started, you would think, OK, mid-table. Everybody expect that. Probably the same with Birmingham City as well, from what these two sides achieved last season. But the journey still goes on, and they want to try and reach those players if they possibly can.
They do. It's going to be a fascinating watch. Remember, that game is, of course, live on talkSPORT 2, 8 p.m. kickoff there with John Dunn and Mickey Gray. Fantastic outlook that is going to be. I want Wrexham to do it. I do. Well, Roy, do you want Wrexham to come up to Premier League?
No, I don't.
I forgot. You're one of those guys that's like, no, it's for the big clubs that have been down there.
No, I like Wrexham. I like Wrexham. I like Wrexham.
Don't you like it because it's all Hollywood and stuff?
No,
it's not. You just don't like all that.
Ryan Reynolds to have a team in the Premier League.
Why is that? Why is that not good?
Why is it good, Flex?
Why?
Why is it good that it can be that a football club, a proud football club with history and tradition, can suddenly become a Hollywood plaything? Why is it good?
All right. Do you know what? We've got to do Spurs. I shouldn't have asked you.
Why is it good?
I just like it. It just changes football, mixes it up a little bit.
Love Hollywood.
No,
that's great.
I'm not even a massive fan of Deadpool.
You get a selfie with someone.
I would love Snoop Dogg in the Prem.
You get a selfie.
I get him to sign my vinyl because I started my vinyl collection. Get Snoop Dogg to sign my vinyl. Right, let's get back to Spurs because we need to speak to Spurs fans to find out what's going on, to find out if they have any hope. Let's hit the phones line. Let's speak to Charlie. Charlie's a Spurs fan. He's on the line. Charlie, you've got Liverpool tomorrow. Also this weekend, should I say? Mate, have you got any hope? Any hope whatsoever?
You're right, boys. No, to be honest, we're not going to win Sunday. We're not going to win on Wednesday. I never thought I'd agree with Rory the way that he speaks about Spurs most of the time, to be perfectly honest. But we do need to get rid of Tudor. We need to get some fan favourites in and just... Because you got to remember, right, English football is incredibly emotive compared to any other sport, any kind of European football where they sing for 90 minutes, right? Booing culture is so prevalent. You look at Palace the other night, everyone was booing them, off Forest as well. And it's going to keep happening at Tottenham every week in, week out. No one cares about Tudor. No one cares about what he's brought. He's brought nothing in. None of the people in the coaching staff care about the club. The players don't care about the club. What we need to do is bring in a few people that do. And look, I've been going for 20-odd years. I've seen Ledley King, Robbie Keane, Jermaine Defoe, these players actually come back to the club now and actually care about the club. You ain't going to see any of this 11 come back to the club in 10, 15 years' time and go, what a great club it was, I loved playing there. So you need to bring in a mixture of, I don't think Harry's probably the answer, but bringing him in as a bit of an advisor and a boost, bring Defoe in, bring King in. What the answer is, I don't know in terms of getting the players going, but if you can get the fans on side, and if we're losing, we lose, right? It is what it is. But you've got the fans on side. If the fans will keep going, it's the only thing that keep you up. Look at Everton a few years ago.
Yeah, Charlie, that's a great shout, actually. That is a great comparison. Like, there's many reasons why Everton stayed up. People talk about the contribution of Lampard. People talk about the contribution of Richarlison. But ultimately, it was Goodison, wasn't it? Goodison is what kept them up. Who is the person to bring in to make White Hart Lane the intense fortress that it needs to be? Because I think you need 3 wins. You have 3 very winnable home games. Who do you think it is? What do you think to this as an idea? Chris Hughton.
Yeah, I mean, bring in with Martin Yole. We'll take it back right there.
Mate.
But no, I think, Hughton probably not, to be honest. He hasn't been around the club for years.
Glenn Hoddle?
But then,
I'm just trying to think of somebody that chimes with what you were saying.
You know what? Hoddle, again, probably wouldn't go amiss. He's around the club. He's probably slagged us off a few times in commentary. But I think, look, Redknapp in with a few of the boys in the coaching staff, and you get the fans on side. I think that can really make a difference. And look, the fans will get behind him. That's what will happen. And it's like you said at Goodison, is the same thing happened. And I think those 3 wins will come out of, well, I'm trying to think of it now, where they'll come out of Forest, maybe.
I think it has to be Forest, mate. It has to be Forest.
I don't see it. Charlie, thank you so much, mate, for calling in. He doesn't sound happy at all. Of course, no Spurs fan is going to be happy. Gareth, he's on the line as well, another Spurs fan. Gareth, my concern that, yes, you need Spurs people, but what about these players, mate? Do you trust that they will have a reaction regardless of who's there? Because it's dire straits now, mate. You've got senior players who don't give a damn. You've got younger players who you can't expect, much more from. You've got injuries galore. Do you see that the players could actually respond to anyone?
Thanks for having me on, guys. Honestly, you would think that even though it was a mediocre European Cup group in general, because there was no drop-off from the Champions League, you would think that these players would realise that Spurs are capable, and we're only capable because of what they're able to do. They need to pull their fingers out. But for me personally, they haven't got a clue. But the people who haven't got the biggest clue is ENIC. If they brought in the right person instead of Tudor and brought somebody like Robbie Keane, because Robbie Keane, I was at the Milan game, the Legends Friendly, pre-season, and that man still runs his heart out for the shirt. And it was only a Legends game. It wasn't like he was vying for 3 points, but that man was still giving his all. And I think he'd give his all in the dugout. And if ENIC had anything about them, they would know that that's the type of person that should be in that dugout to try and pull us out, because he's the man who would lift the crowd, because we loved him, watching him as a player. We loved him, you know, with everything that he did. And we knew the fight that he gave for that shirt. And he would still do it now. And ENIC need to sort themselves out, and they need to get a clue, because he should have had his P45 the minute he got off the plane from Madrid. The man is dire for this club, and he will put us down.
Gareth, can I ask you a little bit about that, ENIC, and what's going on with the Lewis family? I think you're going to be far more well-versed on this and far more knowledgeable than I am. I did read a headline, and I have only read the headline, but it really shocked me, that there's some major nepotism going on. I think the in-law has been given a job in a high-powered position at Tottenham. Do you know about this?
I'll be honest, no. I'll be honest, I'm distancing myself at the moment. I can't be doing it. I've even stopped listening to talkSPORT on some drives.
Don't do that, mate.
Don't do that, mate.
No, because it's so negative, and I know it's banter for you guys a little bit because of who you support. I know it's a bit for Cundy, you know, and I appreciate that. Football's banter, but you know, I've been a Spurs fan since I saw Gascoigne to put that free kick in '91, you know, against Arsenal in the semi-final. I don't wear rose-tinted glasses. You know, I still remember the days of being 3-point lane and, you know, getting turned over by Barnsley and, you know, hoping for a good cup run. But at the same time, we're a lot better than what than what we are now. And you know, ENIC said, you know, when they, you know, with Levy and stuff, when he went, you know, we want to put money in. We want the club to be successful. But if they did truly have the club at heart, if they truly wanted this club to be successful, then they wouldn't have done what they've done now. And I don't. The sooner they sell the club, the better.
Yeah, that's right. They've got to sell the club. I do sympathise with Spurs fans when they talk about what's going on behind the scenes. For sure, Gareth, really appreciate that.
Truly shambolic.
It is, because I mean, look, they've been, you know, sustainable off the pitch, and you look at the infrastructure that's been built by Daniel Levy before he left, even though Vinay was sort of criticising him, saying that actually he hasn't done as good a job as people would say. I think that's a bit out of order, because, you know, Tottenham, a club like Spurs having a stadium like that, you know, sponsorship that they have, and commercially shows you, you know, that is a fantastic job that's been done commercially from the business side of it. But the truth of the matter is that club, I think, has been neglected on the field. You look at the competition for wages, or the lack of that they pay. You look at the recruitment. You look at the types of players that they try to go after. You look at some of the decisions that have been made in terms of player recruitment. It's just way off it.
It just shows you, doesn't it? It just shows you that having a great stadium is so incidental. Like it's so incidental. Like, people don't care. Like, and there's lots of talk at the moment about Chelsea potentially leaving Stamford Bridge. And I think that we should look at what's happened at Tottenham and use it as a real warning. Staying in your stadium. I honestly can't think of any club that have left their stadium and got better, apart from Man City. But obviously that wasn't linked to the move. No. That's for various different reasons. Nobody has left their home and actually got better.
Not immediately, but Arsenal are about to win the Premier League.
They're not better than they were when they were winning doubles and going invincible.
No.
You know, they were winning the doubles on a regular basis and going invincible at Highbury.
Yeah, very interesting. Spurs fans, we're sorry. Please don't stop listening to talkSPORT, though. We would still like you to.
Yeah, we're honoured. We're honoured. At least he's listening to us, Flick. Yeah,
exactly.
Got a hunt with Cundy.
Right, next up, we're going to be taking a look at Spurs' opponents on Sunday, and that is Liverpool.
On this week's Inside Liverpool, winger Jermaine Pennant gave some of his own stats on Slot after hearing about the Dutchman winning 62 of those 100 in charge.
We've lost to Galatasaray twice without scoring a goal. They finished 20th in the league phase. We've lost both to Man City and Man United at Anfield. We've lost 4-1 to PSV. Then the next game after that, 3-0 to Forest at home, both games at Anfield. We failed to beat Leeds twice this season. We failed to beat all 3 promoted teams at Anfield. We've lost 3 times to Crystal Palace this season. Lost to Wolves, Brentford and Bournemouth away. Now, I don't know who you blame for that. I don't know if you blame the players or the manager, but hearing that is absolutely shocking. As current Premier League champions, that is dreadful.
Jermaine Pennant there on Inside Reds. And if you want to watch the latest Inside series, all the episodes are available on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. That's all thanks to BetMGM 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Inside series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, GambleAware.org.
Are those fair stats for Jermaine Pennant to use in his argument against Arne Slot?
Well, they are facts, aren't they? So, and it depends on the standard which you judge Liverpool by, and them standards have certainly dropped a long way below what was set last season.
Full-time whistle goes in Istanbul. It's deja vu for Liverpool. They've lost by a goal to nil to Galatasaray.
I can't think of too many Liverpool players who you said it with 8 out of 10 tonight.
Expectation with Liverpool is off the scale, and rightly so, because of winning the league last year. And we don't live in a world with patience anymore, and the results that they've had haven't been good enough this year. There's no getting away from it.
They look a different team. When you watch them, they do struggle to certainly break teams down. They lack pace. They genuinely lack pace.
It's been a season to forget. Yes, it has been the season to forget so far for Liverpool, the current holders of the Premier League. This is Thank Football It's Friday with me, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be with you up until 10 p.m. time now. Of course, as you just heard there, to turn our attentions to the champions, Liverpool, because that's what they are. Where do you stand, Rory, with how they're doing? Because Arne Slot's come in, first season, won the league. Won the league. That's supposed to be a bedding in season, getting your feet cosy, understanding what the league's all about, doing something that Klopp couldn't do the year before, and won the league, which was incredible. And there's been a huge drop-off after huge investment, actually, breaking transfer records, bringing some real exciting players to the club. But that's a period of change as well. Where do you sit with Slot in terms of it is a period of change and they're now starting to undo and change the team versus you are the champions, you spent a hell of a lot of money, and this is a really poor return on that?
I think it's fascinating. I really do. I think it's a fascinating story on where it's gone wrong for Liverpool. I will start this by saying that I will extend a courtesy to a manager that has won a league more so than a lot of people.
It gives you instant leeway of manoeuvrability for things going wrong. I just won the league.
Yes, yeah. He is the existing champion. Yeah. He came into a league, he won the league in his first attempt. He dethroned Pep Guardiola. He stopped Pep Guardiola winning 5 in a row. Yeah. He jumped ahead of the queue of Mikel Arteta, and the way that he did it was through his own managerial brilliance, sprinkling that stardust on Ryan Gravenberch, not signing a midfielder, but managing his way out of the problem and redefining Ryan Gravenberch. Like when Ryan Gravenberch first arrived at Liverpool, he was on the periphery. Yeah. In fact, he was on the periphery. He was on the periphery at Bayern. Yeah. And suddenly he became one of the best midfielders in the world. So I think that Arne Slot deserves so much credit. And when people talk this year about he's got to go and all that, it doesn't really chime with the way I see the situation, just because he won the league.
But does that mean just because he won the league, that means he's the right man going forward when there's a bigger sample size and then you can clearly see what's wrong? Because when you look at the way Liverpool play, when you look at the investment, when things have had to change, when you look at the quality of football, when you look at the connection with the fans, which is huge at an institution the size of Liverpool. I know it's a bit difficult because you look at Klopp and how he connected with the fans. It's almost difficult for anyone to replicate that. But Liverpool fans are still entitled to be excited.
How much of it becomes his fault? I think this is the important thing, and I know that what we're doing here is we're going to try, or at least do our best to shed some nuance on a situation. Because the easiest thing for us to do is go get him out, sack him. But he's a champion. He's a champion for a reason. And I think that we really have to weigh that into this conversation. So where did it go wrong?
Ranieri was a champion. Don't mean you can't get sacked.
Oh, no, of Leicester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get sacked if it goes wrong. Just because you've been a champion, if it goes wrong and you can see that, the Champions League, they haven't gone out yet, but I'm saying Champions League, you went out, you went trophyless, you spent big money, the football's worse, we're seeing it week in, week out, we're not defending very well, we're very open, you haven't found solutions to the problems. I don't think, when you are a big club, I don't think Liverpool... I think that's doing a disservice to Liverpool Football Club to be like, we'll just be happy because we're champions. Because their standards should be high. They're Liverpool Football Club. 20 titles.
Why is it gone so wrong? I think that's probably the question.
Because he's not good enough.
You think Arne Slot's not good enough, that's why it's gone wrong. Okay, again, let's just explore it.
Yeah.
That could well be the answer that we come to at the end, by the way. But is it not a case of like the Mohamed Salah debacle that hasn't done the season any favours? The debacle or the transfer saga that was Alexander Isak, that hasn't done them any favours. Yeah. The amount of injuries, Alexander Isak himself breaking his leg, Van der Ven's horrific tackle, that didn't do them any favours. Allowing Luis Diaz to leave.
But he wanted to leave.
Not signing Mark Gahey.
Yeah.
All of these things.
But what about the things he's doing? He's choosing not to play Rio Gamoa when he's absolutely playing out of his skin and Cody Gakpo looks awful. What about the lack of system, the lack of Liverpool being on the front foot, the lack of adhering to traditions of what Liverpool Football Club should stand for, even if they're not playing well? There's a certain criteria that Liverpool fans should look at their team and identify with, and they're not seeing it.
So do you think he should be sacked?
I don't think he should be sacked now. I think he should go at the end of the season.
Do you think he should have been sacked at any point this season?
No,
though?
And the reason why is because I do agree with you with that of he is a champion, so like the season's still playing out. Could win the FA Cup, could win the Champions League. I don't think they will, but the season's still playing out. But at the end of the season, I think you say thank you. You're giving us a Premier League, maybe another trophy.
What would happen though?
And then you go
everything that you've said,
go and get Xabi Alonso.
Everything that you've said, that could all still be true, but they somehow win a European Cup. How do you balance that?
If they win the European Cup, that changes everything.
But why? Because everything that you've said is still true. They're not playing well in the way that you think they should play. They're not
because that's too
playing Rio and Gamoa.
That's too strong. That's crazy work. Winning the Premier and Champions League in your first 2 seasons. I don't care. You have to stay.
See, I would say, say he wins the FA Cup. I would say in the first season he arrives, he wins the Premier League. In the second season, back-to-back seasons of silverware.
Yeah, give him a look.
Back-to-back seasons of silverware. Look, I don't think he's as desperate for Slot.
No, man.
I think he's done a remarkable job. I will always say
the writing's there, man.
So who do you think?
Well, about the same. Well, yeah, and actually, when you say about some of the players who were so good last year, well, you can't be the manager of them the year that they're doing really well, and we give you all the adulation and praise, and then when said players fall off a cliff, it's not your fault. Why is McAllister looking like this? Why is Gravenberch looking like this? Why is Cody Gakpo looking like this? Why is Mo Salah playing in this way? What's happening?
And do you know what? At the beginning of this, I said it's fascinating, and that's why I do find it fascinating, because there's so much of it that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you can't rid him of the responsibility. He's the manager. The same way you're the manager when the team wins and you get you get all the praise. When it goes wrong, and we're looking at Liverpool going, I don't recognise this.
So do you think the answer is to sack a title-winning manager?
Yeah, but he's not going to be. Yeah, he's a title-winning manager in terms of
sack a title-winning manager and bring in Xabi Alonso.
Yeah,
Xabi Alonso. His managerial career wasn't exactly painted in the most beautiful colour by what happened at Real Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid, difficult club. Though.
I agree.
Very, very. I don't think that's.
Look, I don't.
His Leverkusen was absolutely unbelievable.
I'm always inclined to say, when Chelsea had a similar situation would have been Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte won the league in what I consider to be one of the most dazzling ways ever. Antonio Conte took a Chelsea team that finished 10th the previous season to the title.
Yeah. Incredible.
The second season, and Chelsea fans will tell you now, God, we had a terrible season. That second season was horrible. We finished 5th and won the FA Cup. We beat Man United in the final. Jose Mourinho's Man United in the final of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I don't want to sack Conte. I thought it was mental. It's like, wait, he's won the Premier League, then he's won the FA Cup. But like, why are we sacking this clearly gifted manager?
We're going to break in 2 seconds, but if somehow Liverpool didn't beat Spurs and went out to Galatasaray, do you think he should leave?
I think he has to qualify for the Champions League.
Because I think he should be sacked on the spot if he loses against Spurs.
I think he has to qualify for the Champions League by hook or by crook.
Yeah. If you don't do that, you've got to go.
Doesn't matter if he finishes 6th, but lifts the trophy in Budapest.
Right.
By hook or by crook, Liverpool have to be in the Champions League next year. But if they are, I think he keeps his job.
Okay, interesting stuff. Right, it's Wrexham against Swansea. That's about to get away on talkSPORT 2. But next, we'll be turning our attention to the title race.
Tottenham Hotspur have delayed season ticket renewals, which normally open by the 15th of March until the end of the season. A statement read this to season ticket holders yesterday: "We recognise the seriousness of the current league position, and following discussions with our fan advisory board and the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, we can confirm the renewal window for 2026-27 will now remain open for an extended period until Sunday, the 7th of June. And this is because, of course, the relegation is a real threat now, and even the club are recognising that that could be a possibility. This comes as talkSPORT understands that Igor Tudor has already alienated much of the Spurs squad. His treatment of goalkeeper Antonin Kinski during Tuesday night's hammering at Atletico Madrid did not go down with the dressing room. First of all, Crook, why don't you tell us, because you're the inside man here, what you understand the state of play to be?
I think a lot of the senior Spurs players, if you like, already have big reservations about Igor Tudor and his man management, and those were only exasperated by what happened with Kinski. I thought it was quite pointed. Jed Spence was also not acknowledged by his manager when he went off and came back and made a very public display of shaking his hand. So I think this is an appointment that is unravelling very quickly. I believe that conversations have taken place already between Spurs and potential other managers. Sean Dyche has been mentioned in the last 72 hours or so, but I think he would want a long-term contract, not a deal until the end of the season. There was even talk of Ange Postecoglou possibly being asked to return. I don't think, having made inquiries this morning, that will happen. Ryan Mason as another interim for the third time, it is a possibility.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Across, Saka got a touch and heads it beyond the goalkeeper, and Arsenal lead by a goal to nil already.
The best thing for Arsenal is that to go into that Manchester City game knowing if you lose, it's okay. Then the pressure's off, isn't it, Ray? Then they'll probably go there and win.
City on the charge again, towards the edge of the box. Here's Mamouche, first time shot, brilliant goal! Omar Mamouche!
Oh, I think the absolute certainties. Search to win the league.
Okay.
They've got the best squad. I wouldn't say it was over, but it's a big step towards that title.
Oh, it's time now to talk about the title race. This is Thank Football. It's Friday with me, Flex, and Rory Jennings going to be with you up until 10 p.m. And it's time for the Arsenal section and the Man City section, really, because those are the two guys that are chasing down the Premier League title. And do you know what? There's been so much said about Arsenal, so much hate towards them, so much moving of the goalposts. And earlier this week, former Chelsea midfielder John Obi Mikel, he had some really strong words for Arsenal's style of play.
No, I wouldn't. Because for me, it's a cheat. They've cheated their way to winning the Premier League. So I wouldn't recognize them as winners. Because for me, it's illegal the way they're winning games. It's illegal. Unless the Premier League right now, from this weekend, stamp that out. We don't want to see that in the game.
So if you were playing for Arsenal, asked by Arteta, these are the tactics, and this is what I want you to do, you'd say, that's not my style of football, I can't do that.
No, you can't, because he spent $1 billion.
You would not go with Arteta's tactics?
No, when I look at the team, there's so much creativity in that team. So much creativity. Eze, Odegaard, Saka. Let them express themselves. When you watch them, they're so rigid. They depend solely on the corner kick.
John Obi Mikel there, basically saying that Arsenal would have cheated their way to the Premier League. Love John. Loved him as a player as well. Should have come Man United. We all know about that story. But I think it's got to stop. I think it's got to stop now. I think we're getting to the point where the witch hunt against Arsenal to win this Premier League is reaching like silly levels. What are Arsenal supposed to do? They go years and years and years and years being laughed at by so many across the nation, across the league. They're soft. They play pretty football for no reason. They have a soft underbelly. They never gave it over the line. They always bottle it. They always do this. They haven't won a title in God knows how long. Now they're on the cusp of doing something fantastic, which is winning the Premier League. What we're trying to do now is move the goalpost to go, but we don't like how you're about to do this. Like it's Arsenal's problem. Everybody's blaming Arsenal as well for the way the Premier League has gone. This is Arsenal's fault. They're cheating. Last time I checked, a corner kick was part of football. Last time I checked, a free kick was part of football. And last time I checked, although, yes, Arsenal do heavily rely on it, they don't score all their goals in that manner. They score goals from open play as well. Since when in the rulebook did it say that to be a champion, you have to win this way? I thought it was get it done by any means. I thought it was champions show bits and pieces of themselves when they might not be playing well and get out with a 1-0. Isn't that the hallmark of good teams? Now, if you want to change the question to, will Arsenal be remembered as one of the greatest champions alongside, I don't know, the 08 Man United team or the Chelsea team of the 16 or the Invincibles or the Centurions? That's a different question. But guess what? Why would Arsenal fans or Arsenal, the club, the institution, Mikel Arteta, care about that? Just win. I don't get it.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I don't really know what point John Obi Mikel is making here. I just don't understand it. I don't know if this is part of a ploy to try and drive traffic towards his podcast. I don't really understand it. It doesn't make any sense. John Obi Mikel getting kind of on his high horse, getting really...
He was really emotive about it, wasn't he?
Really impassioned about the way that Arsenal are winning games. What I think is quite disingenuous from John Obi Mikel, a player who played for my team, a player who I rate incredibly highly, he was man of the match in Munich. I love his contribution to Chelsea. But has he forgotten the kind of player that he was? Like, he's talking as if he was some sort of really expressive, marauding, maverick winger. He's talking like he was Joe Cole. He was exactly what he's accusing Arsenal of being. He was almost the personality. He was the personification of Mourinho's Park the Bus. He was that. Chelsea would go 2-0 up and bring Mikel on, and that would be the game over. We would effectively kill the game by bringing on John Obi Mikel. So I don't really know what he's getting so annoyed about, but it isn't only John Obi Mikel that is having this conversation. And it's also futile. Like, I heard Alan Pardew on this station. Alan Pardew said it would come with an asterisk. Yeah. I mean, Paul Scholes said nobody deserves to win the Premier League this year. They just shouldn't give it to anybody. And ultimately, none of it really makes any sense. I don't quite understand what we're saying here. A few years ago, we were laughing at Arsenal when they played some expansive football. Remember when they had that pink kit on? Yeah. They played some beautiful football. They were probably the best team to watch in the Premier League. They went away to Man City. They got absolutely battered. Kevin De Bruyne scored a couple, right? They got absolutely walloped, and everyone laughed.
Yeah.
What Mikel Arteta has done has been really pragmatic. He's found a way to combat Guardiola.
Yeah.
I think he should be praised for doing it.
Well, last time I checked, Rory, is where's all the criticism for the other teams? If Arsenal are this awful team, this boring, dead to watch team, what are Man City doing? What's the Oracle Pep doing? Yeah. I saw Man City draw against Nottingham Forest in the last round of Premier League games, right? And Arsenal got a 1-0 win at Brighton. Everyone was talking about, Verbruggen, can't believe he's let that in. Arsenal didn't deserve that. 1-0. Where's all the hysteria? Hold on. Hello? There was a game at the Etihad where they just drew to Forest.
No, but Man City try to play football in a way that Arsenal don't. Arsenal are a very formulaic team. They
didn't win.
No, but
they're supposed to be keeping pace with this Arsenal team that's not great to watch. This, that. It's about getting points on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're talking about style of football. In terms of why people focused on the game at Brighton rather than the game that Man City were involved in is because of the motivation. Manchester City do try and play nicer football than Arsenal. That's not controversial. That's just true. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because Mikel Arteta's objective isn't to entertain me. It isn't to make a sporting occasion more memorable. It's to secure the 3 points. And he's doing that. And then I think it becomes a question of, if Arsenal are overly reliant on set pieces, why are they overly reliant on them?
Yeah.
And part of the reason that they're so overly reliant on them is because basically everyone who plays against Arsenal puts in a low block and puts 11 men behind the ball. Exactly. It's very difficult to play expansive football when 11 men are behind the ball. You probably will rely on
I'm challenging City to raise it. They're supposed to be the ones who play the attractive football, who play the game in the beautiful way it's supposed to be played in. City boss Pep Guardiola has said that in the title race, it will be over if they drop points at West Ham tomorrow.
So now it's West Ham, and I have to have time to think about it. And it's just these kind of games, they have to think to try to first score the goal to win the game, and after the game, for many plans you have, it doesn't happen. It's play the game you have to play, and after the game will dictate you have chance or not. So it's difficult, yeah. Not much dollars on the bank, bet for us, I would say. So we'll see. We'll see on Tuesday. Now it's West Ham. That still I define the Premier Leagues, like it was the league, as the most difficult title. So the Premier League always, I believe, is the most difficult one, and and still we are there, knowing that if we drop points, we'll be over.
Pep Guardiola saying if they drop points against West Ham, it's over. Do you know what? I don't think this is mind games this time. I think he's right. I think he's 100% right. I think probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe something like that, he said it then, and I was like, he knows what he's doing. He's he knows what he's doing, and he's the mind games king. But they're currently 7 points ahead. If they drop more points, I know they've got this game in hand, but if they drop more points, Arsenal will breeze it.
Yeah,
I don't see Arsenal's lost 3 games, mate.
No,
3 games.
Do you know what I think is going to happen? And I
Don't
really
lose
hope,
football
I
matches,
desperately hope I'm wrong here. But do you know what I think could actually happen?
Go on.
You know, we've been talking about this horrible, this spectacle that is going to occur at the Etihad Stadium, which is Arsenal going to the Etihad. That's going to be the moment that defines the Premier League title. We are going to have effectively a playoff for the Premier League. It's all going to come down to one magical night in
trying
Manchester.
to build it up to be, yeah.
Do you know what's actually going to happen that night?
Arsenal.
It's going to be over.
Yeah.
It's going to be over. Like,
because it'll be like 9 points by the time they get there.
Yeah. We're going to have Man City getting giving a guard of honour. We're going to have Erling Haaland having to give a guard of honour to
Respect,
Gyökeres.
eh? Humble, eh?
Yeah. We're gonna have that. Like, it's not going to go that far, is it? Manchester City, they look vulnerable. They look like they could drop points at any moment.
Do you think it'll still be 7 points by the time they play Arsenal?
I think it'll be more.
Yeah,
I think it'll be more. I think
agree.
Arsenal will extend the lead.
Yeah.
No, Arsenal are the best team in the country. The best team in the country doesn't always win the league. Ask a Tottenham fan. But the best team in the country is Arsenal. The best squad in the country is Arsenal. The best manager this season is Arteta. So, generally speaking, they are going to win the Premier League title.
Yeah. Everyone, do you know what it is, Rory? I'll just be real. Everyone just likes to hate Arsenal. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's funny, the banter when they keep bottling it and stuff. You want to keep giving them that label. But what's happening is, because of everybody's want to keep seeing them fail, people are finding it really difficult to just say what they're seeing. Like, it's not hard to just say what you see. Like, okay, you might not like the football, but are they the most effective? Are they the most consistent? Yes. So just deal with it. That's it. City have fallen off a cliff. When Liverpool won the league last year, right? They weren't playing particularly great. I don't think they were playing particularly great. Man City fell off a cliff. Remember around November, December, they went won one game in 13. Arsenal got to the January transfer window, didn't invest, kind of fell off with all the injuries they had. And Liverpool just kind of walked. There wasn't even a title race last year. Why was no one critical of Liverpool then? It was all, Arne Slot first season,
but the rules are different, aren't they? The rules are different for a side like Liverpool who very recently won a Premier League title. But
they didn't win the Premier League title playing how they did with Klopp.
No, but the reason why Arsenal were given a slightly tougher time is because it's been 2 decades. And they're loud, aren't they?
That's what I mean. Nobody wants to see, and that's what it's really about. Nobody actually, I say nobody, a lot of people just don't want to see Arsenal succeed because it's going to be unbearable, because the fans are loud, because online it's this, or we all know an Arsenal fan who knows an Arsenal fan who knows. Like, it is kind of unbearable. But at the same time, I just think you can call that out, but let's not lie about, like, this isn't a flash in the pan as well. They've been knocking on the door for something big. This team is on the cusp of winning something big. Yeah. And what we want the bigger story to be is, yeah, they're so close, but they keep not getting over the line, because that fits our narrative even better. I mean, it will be makes us feel better.
It will be fantastic if for some reason...
Oh, we will be there.
Oh, yeah.
I will be there.
If somehow it doesn't go Arsenal's way,
but it will be monumental. If they don't win something major this season, when I say something major... The Carabao Cup, listen, is great. It can catapult them for confidence and stuff. So, hopefully for them they win. But that's not the one. If they don't win the Premier League or the Champions League this year, you will start,
especially with that draw.
With the draw they've got. Listen, that's what they finished first. They did really well. They deserve that. They drew Southampton away in the FA Cup. People are saying, everything's conspiring against them. The quadruple's on now. But if they don't win something big now, you would start to think, when would they? Quick predictions for you, Rory. Arsenal taking on Everton at the Emirates. Come on.
I'm going to call it a draw because I really want it to be a draw.
Oh, because you just want that to happen. Yeah, but what do you think will happen?
I think Arsenal will win 3-0.
Man City taking on West Ham at the London Stadium. West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, Manchester City just have to win, don't they? Manchester City just have to win. And I feel like they will, City. I mean, they're slightly fragile, but do you think... What kind of impact do you think the defeat against Real Madrid will have? Do you think that will make them realise that they have to go all out for the Premier League title?
Nah, I don't think this City team is capable of just kind of like levelling up and activating and we're going to win all these games. They're like in the Premier League, they look like they can be got at every single week. Even in the games they win. So I'm going for a draw in that game. Remember, that game is exclusively live on talkSPORT 2. On talkSPORT, at 8 p.m. Manchester City taking on West Ham United at the London Stadium. I'm going to go 1-1 in that game, and I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Everton 0. I think that won't be the best game, but Arsenal will just get it done, and I don't think Everton will lay a glove on them, to be honest, and it'll be another...
Is there any world in which David Moyes can find a victory here?
No.
A point? If you're an Arsenal fan looking at it though,
yeah,
and obviously we don't want Arsenal to win, so we basically think they're going to.
I don't mind Arsenal winning.
Do you not?
I'm not. That's another thing. I'm not one of them fans.
I desperately don't want them to win, so I effectively think that they're just going to win. If you're an Arsenal fan going into this game, are you looking at Everton? Are you thinking, God, they're robust, they're wily, they're good, they're on form, they can qualify for Europe?
Yeah, but not Arsenal. They just don't lose football matches. They just don't. They find a way. I really do. I do think they find a way. Next, we'll turn our attentions to Chelsea. Do they have an arrogance problem? What's going on? Like, red cards galore, people getting fined, Neto getting fined for pushing ball boys. Yeah, is it as
ball
bad?
Ball boys? He's about my height.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, and that's small. So, it's like a kid. There you go. We'll see you on the other side.
Morning, guys. Morning, Gavs.
Jay,
morning,
good
boss. Morning, boss. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. All good.
Why are you not here, Jermaine? I thought you would be with us today in the box, smelling amazing.
I might have to come down, actually. Looks like it's going to be fun. Nice day for it.
Yeah, great day.
Jump on the headache day, you'll be fine, mate.
He's not a racing man, I don't think, is he?
Oh,
I'm not. The boss knows I'm not really, and he's getting involved in it, though.
Yeah.
Saying all the right
He's
things.
well behaved. Didn't come on a Tuesday when he was in on the Wednesday.
No.
Yeah, he was definitely there on a Tuesday.
We're the lads here. all got the helicopter here, didn't they?
Did they?
Tottenham, yeah. Yeah.
Jermaine, it's good to have you on with this. Let's get your thoughts now on your former club. Shall we start with Spurs? It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's been a hard watch all season. To be honest, I think especially the other night I watched the game and yeah, it was just I think the manager's come in and he's in, especially in that game, he's decided to start a young goalkeeper in Kingsley, and I think I was surprised when he took him off. To be honest, I think when you have a young goalkeeper and you make that decision in such a game of that magnitude to start him, I think you've got to stay with him. I think what a young goalkeeper can gain from that sort of experience, even though it weren't going well when he made the two big mistakes. But I think you've got to stay with him. And the fact that the manager decided to take him off and not really acknowledge him when he come off, it's I just think that human side, I think you've got to manage that situation in the right way. He doesn't look.
This is Frank Football. It's Friday with me, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be with you until 10 p.m. tonight. We're going to get updates from Wrexham versus Swansea, and I've just seen a goal going right now. Actually, Wrexham have just taken the lead against Swansea. It's Nathan Broadhead who scored in the 24th minute. Wrexham fans going mad. Ryan Reynolds on comms on Sky. Maybe you're right, Rory. Maybe you're right. Oscar, I've just seen Ryan Reynolds with the Gary Neville mic, with the John Motson mic.
It's a new low for football.
Both the co-owners are on comms.
How did we sink to this? Where did it all go wrong?
It is unbelievable, but we will be getting our updates on that. It is live on talkSPORT too. If you want to see what's going on in the Championship with Wrexham's, it is a good goal. With Wrexham's quest for Premier League football. Right, the latest episode of How to Win Football is out now, and hosts Matt Ford and Lloyd Griffith speak to former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg about what it's like to referee the biggest games in world football and why officiating in the World Cup is often very different to the Premier League. Here, Mark Clattenburg explains why players tend to behave better on the pitch at major tournaments.
When players play at the national level, the respect is completely different to when they play at club football.
What, the respect for the officials?
No, I think players towards officials, I think managers and coaches towards officials are completely different. I think they never want to let the nation down. And I felt when I was refereeing in tournaments, it was very like a game of chess. There wasn't many bad challenges, not like the way we see in the Premier League, and dissent is a lot less at international football than it is at club football. But if you commit a bad challenge in a tournament, you could end up, and it's not like an automatic 3-match suspension, what you see in the Premier League, it could be 2.
Yeah.
You miss 2 games in a tournament, you could be out of the tournament. So players are a lot more, they think a lot more, and that's why there's not as many bad challenges or a lot of dissent that you see at club football.
That was former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg on how to win the World Cup, which is available wherever you get your podcast from, on the Talks and on the talkSPORT YouTube channel as well. Speaking of dissent, Rory, I've got a question for you.
Tell me.
Who was the last player to be sent off for dissent for England?
For dissent? Oh, hang on. I feel like this is quite recent. Is it Reece James?
Well, how have you done that?
Is it?
That's brilliant.
There you go.
That is brilliant. After the full-time whistle against Denmark.
Yeah.
October 2020.
There you go, mate.
Stuff.
Don't try and catch me out, mate. You get up early in the morning to catch me.
I've got another one for you.
Go on.
Who is the only other player to have previously been sent off for England for dissent?
What? Ever?
Yeah.
Ever?
He's the only other player.
Give me a clue. Give me a clue. What position?
Producer.
Give me a clue.
Centre midfield.
A central midfielder got sent off for dissent. I'm going to go... Hang on a minute. This actually rings a bell. Is it Ray Wilkins?
Is that World Cup? Ray Wilkins.
Is it Ray Wilkins?
Ray Wilkins. That is.
Oh!
That is top.
Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you very much.
That is incredible.
There you go, mate. There you go.
I pulled that one out.
Hey, I told you.
You've seen it, right?
They don't let anyone sit.
You've seen this, haven't
I haven't seen a thing.
A bit of a Chelsea connection there as well, actually, which is funny right now, because the accusation being levelled at your club are that the players are arrogant so-and-sos. Do you
what, the Chelsea players are arrogant? Yeah, I mean, I think this is an epidemic in football, Premier League football, isn't it? There are notable exceptions who don't strike me as being particularly arrogant. I don't. For example, Declan Rice doesn't strike me as being a particularly arrogant man.
Absolutely not.
Bukayo Saka doesn't strike me as being a particularly arrogant man.
No.
Cole Palmer doesn't strike me as being a particularly arrogant man. The rest, I would say, are all arrogant across the Premier League. Across the entire Premier League.
No, there's more that aren't
arrogant. I've given you the 3 exceptions.
I do get what you mean. I mean, look, it's interesting actually. Matt Law in the Telegraph, he said the best and easiest change Chelsea could make for next season would to be remove the Club World Cup winners badge from their shirts. Vice captain Enzo Fernandez highlighted just what the badge stands for when he pointed to it after equalising against PSG. His peacocking celebration was arrogant, and that is what the badge represents. Not even Fernandez can think that Chelsea are the best club in the world. There can be no doubt that winning the Club World Cup, created an arrogance beyond the sense of achievement that has helped to cultivate a head-loss culture within the club. I think that's fair.
No, I completely disagree. Who said it? Matt Law.
Yeah, Matt Law.
No, I rate Matt Law. I like his. He writes a lot about Chelsea, and generally speaking, I think he makes excellent points. This I disagree about. I think the reason why Enzo Fernandez scores a very good goal against Paris Saint-Germain away from home and points at it is to rile the Paris Saint-Germain players. I don't think he's doing it to focus on the arrogance that Chelsea have won that competition. I think he's done it. He's pointed at it to focus on the arrogance of Chelsea winning the competition against Paris Saint-Germain. That is the equivalent of a V sign to Vitinha, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's a V sign to do it.
Yeah,
it's not.
You're right. He is doing that, but again, against a team levels as PSG, he's basically saying because we beat you. Remember, we're the real champions. No, you're not. No, you're not, mate.
No,
He's
it's
not.
just
He is arrogant.
It's just a way.
Who are you compared to Vitinha, mate?
It's just a way.
Who are you? We got the Ballon d'Or player in our team, mate.
It's just a way to remind. No, but it's just a way to remind the opposition.
He's arrogant, mate.
No, I mean, I don't think Enzo.
Especially Enzo Fernandez as well. Him. He's one of the most arrogant out there.
I think he is very arrogant, but I don't think Chelsea need to remove. I don't think Chelsea need to remove.
They do because they're not really World Cup. What is that?
I remember when Willian was playing against Tottenham. Tottenham fans were giving Willian all sorts of stick, and Willian pointed at our Premier League badge because it was goal. We were the Premier League winners.
Yeah.
It's just
if
a
you
way
do that
of
for Tottenham.
No, but it's just a way of reminding them, isn't it? You can do it to Paris Saint-Germain if you beat them, if you batter them in a final.
Yeah.
But
I do think you do.
There are so many problems which I could make a list of 100 problems at Chelsea, and I wouldn't mention the kit.
But no. But it is indicative of, again, because of the transfer policy you've got with buying young, inexperienced players who've got a point to prove and stuff. That's why you are getting problems with dissent as well. Right, earlier today, Reece James signed a new 6-year deal at Chelsea as well, and Bosley and Rossini believes his captain is the best right back in the world.
We secured the best player in world football in his position, and he had many opportunities to leave this magnificent club, and the good thing is not just the size and the stature of the club that he's come through from a very, very young age, but it's his belief and confidence in what we're doing here, where we want to go. We've had many conversations about it. For him to sign a deal and put his faith in us is a massive step.
Chelsea head coach Liam Rossini there saying that Reece James is the best player in his position in world football. Is he right?
Yeah, I think that's the least controversial thing you'll hear on
100%.
talkSPORT.
It's not a hot take, is it?
No, I don't think it is at all. I heard Jason Cundy talking about this earlier. Actually, Jason was suggesting that Reece James is the most complete footballer in the Premier League. I don't think Darren Bent agreed. I think he saw it as quite an egregious take. But I agree with Jason Cundy. I think that Reece James is the most capable. You know, if you play that game, I think it's quite a fun game to play as well. You know, if you talk about the best player, if you had 11 of the same player, the best team that you could create. So if you did it over the history of the Premier League, I think the answer is either Wayne Rooney or Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
If you had 11 Wayne Rooneys, like Wayne Rooney in goal,
yeah,
Wayne Rooney up front, Wayne Rooney at right back, how does that team do? I think it probably is the best, maybe 11 Steven Gerrards. I think if you did it now, the best 11 that you could create that currently play in the Premier League, 11 Reece Jameses. 11 Reece James are the best you can get. He's the best right back. He played at centre-half against Liverpool this season with Josh Achiampong alongside him.
Centre mid is brilliant.
Central midfield, he bossed it against Arsenal, bossed it against Declan Rice.
He's flawless.
In terms of his eye for a goal, look at some of the goals that look at some of the goals that he scored against Newcastle at St James's Park. Yeah. Both feet, his eye for a
set-piece delivery is excellent.
Set piece, I mean, look at the goal that he scored for England from a set piece.
Unbelievable.
I don't think there is a flaw in his game. His only flaw is injury.
Not exactly. That's the only thing I was going to say. The only reason why Reece James has been maybe late to be talking about, you know, being world class and putting up these type of performances has been staying fit, has been putting in season after season of top level performances. Anytime he's played, it's never a question with Reece James about ability. He's got bags of ability. And actually in this sort of really good era for England where we've had, you know, Kyle Walker as the top right back and then Trent and then Reece James as the 3. For me, you look at Reece James and he's got the best parts of what Trent and Walker both had. Not as quick as Kyle Walker in his prime, obviously. Not many people were.
Reece James is a much better footballer than Kyle Walker. Much better.
100%, that's what I'm saying. As a complete player, and he's a much better complete player than Trent. Because he can defend in 1v1 situations as well. He's so strong on the ball. People don't often get past him. He's quick.
Do you know what, Flex? Do you know what used to give me a migraine? People have softened on it a bit, but do you know what genuinely used to give me a migraine? And I appreciate it's Rich coming from me who can give an aspirin a migraine, but do you know what used to drive me crazy? When people would try and argue with me and tell me that Trent Alexander-Arnold was a better right back than Reece James.
Because of his attacking.
This is years ago as well. Like this, now it seems like a ridiculous thing to say, but there was a time when people, Liverpool fans in particular, would really argue that Trent Alexander-Arnold was better. Yeah. I was just like,
because you don't see enough. It's because you don't see enough of Reece James because he was injured.
It's like whenever I think about Vinicius Junior scoring that goal in the Champions League final against Liverpool, where Trent Alexander-Arnold is just don't have a clue. Where, you're like, that just never happens to Reece James. No. It just literally can't happen.
Too good of a defender.
Too good of a defender. No,
I think absolutely.
The only thing that I'm slightly worried about is, you know, him signing a new contract.
Yeah.
People, Chelsea fans are now really over the moon going, well, that's great. It means he won't leave. Like, Lewis Hall signed a new contract. We sold him a week later. You know, it doesn't mean anything.
Under Blueco, you definitely can't get too comfortable with players staying for a long time. Chelsea versus Newcastle United. Give me a score prediction for that.
I'm going to go for a 1-1, a really optimistic 1-1.
Really?
Yeah, I'll go 1-1.
You don't think you're going to beat him?
No. I mean, I think that they'll be. I imagine if you ask a Newcastle fan, they'd probably say 1-0 as well.
Yeah.
I think that our
feel like
seasons are very similar.
Wow.
Yeah.
No confidence there. I'm going to go. I think Chelsea just about do it. 2-1. Yeah, 2-1. 2-1. Newcastle might gas out a little bit. Big exerts that they had to do.
I hope you're right.
Barca. Right, next up, we'll be taking a look at Manchester United's game against Aston Villa on Sunday. And should Michael Carrick be getting the Man United job on a permanent basis?
That's so typical.
That's so nonsensical.
PSG 3, Chelsea 2, and goodness me, boys, you've shot yourselves in the foot.
What is that? What is that?
I said it. We said it. You bring in a keeper because he's good with his feet. But really and truly, is he that good with his feet? What's this shambolic goal?
Reece James plays the ball back to Jorgensen, who tries to play out from the back, and he gets intercepted. It falls to a PSG player. And by the way, as well, when he gets worked to Vitinha, the goalkeeper's off his line. And that is some dinked finish, isn't it? But once again there, Kwaku, he's taking way too much time. And my goodness me, in a game of football where you're level at 2-2, possibly looking the better team, in a game of this magnitude, at this level, mistakes like that, Louis, are just completely unacceptable.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is why when people talk about keepers playing with the ball at their feet all the time and how it's a massive priority, yes, I appreciate the game is changing. But the priority for a goalkeeper is saving it.
There's also moments as well that I don't think they're clearly there. You had a PSG player coming from the left-hand side.
It's logical.
You could see ahead as well someone's being pressed. I'm with you. Playing out from the back is a part of football. But if you can see there's pressure on, there has to be a moment where you don't play out from the back and you just go long.
But this is the problem. There's this consistent need to always play out the back, always play out, always play out. Just this another problem with this Chelsea team, but also not just this Chelsea team, a lot of teams now, because there is so much pressure on playing out from the back, they make silly decisions like that all the time, and we give them the ball away again.
winner.
They end Manchester United's unbeaten run under Michael Carrick. He trudges off. He looks sick as a parrot as he goes down the tunnel.
He just seems to have come in there and really steadied the ship. You know, made players believe themselves again.
Watkins heads Aston Villa into the lead.
I don't know where the next win's coming from. Manchester United away next, where Villa's always struggle. I don't look at Aston Villa as a challenger anymore. I really don't. On recent form, 1 win in 6.
I think it's a really huge challenge on Sunday.
This is Fan Football. It's Friday, turning our attentions to Manchester United against Aston Villa. Now, myself, Flex and Rory, we're going to be with you up until 10 p.m. You can hear it from that little package there. Gabby's nervous. There's no more green and gold scarves from Gabby. You know, it's PSR's fault. You know, Unai out. He's worried. 1 win in 6, he just said. Now they have to face Man United. And there's been a lot of talk, Rory. You know, Michael Owen's been saying he can't believe that people are questioning whether Michael Carrick should become the next permanent manager of Man United. He also said that at the one time they start to play well and get results, the fans are on board. You're telling me at the end of the season, if he gets third, they will say thanks but no thanks. How is that possible? Is Michael Owen right that Michael Carrick should be the next Man United manager?
Yeah, I agree with Michael Owen. I completely agree with Michael Owen. I think Michael Carrick has done an amazing job. I think that he has shown that he has a skill set. I think he's shown that he has also the awareness of his own limitations. Bringing in an experienced head like Steve Holland, for example, is such a wise thing to do. And look, you don't need to make this decision now, but I think that unless Manchester United are capable of going out and getting, I'm talking like totally elite,
yeah.
like
who is that?
Luis
yeah,
Enrique.
Exactly.
Unless they can get Luis Enrique, then obviously Michael Carrick, regardless of how it goes, Michael Carrick would have to fall on his sword to allow Luis Enrique to take the job, and I think Carrick would probably admit that himself. But you know, if Manchester United are not going to get that manager, and then they're looking at the next rung down, which would be Iraola, Glasner, Pochettino, De Zerbi, Tuchel. Yeah. I think Michael Carrick is 100% the front runner of that pack.
I think it's Unai Emery's been mentioned as well.
Well, did you? It's interesting in this fixture. I noticed? Did you read Jamie Carragher's column in the Telegraph?
Yeah,
he said that Unai Emery would be a great Manchester United manager. Yeah. He'd be the man to revive.
But he also, but you got to read between the lines of that autograph of that piece, because I was reading that as well, and then right at the end of it, he says, "But if you've got aspirations to win the Premier League and the Champions League, then Emery's a red flag." So he's also having a bit of a dig at Man United, to basically saying, like, if you want to be mid-table and get in the Champions League, he'll stabilise you, make your team better. So that's why he's perfect for United. But hello, we do have aspirations of winning the Premier League and the Champions League. That's exactly where we want to be. For me, I think Unai Emery is a top manager. I do, but I don't think he's the right fit for Man United, because Unai Emery needs total control over what he's doing, total say-so, total power over what's going on. He did it for so many years with Monchi as his right-hand man. I know that's changed now at Villa, but that is still the reason why Unai Emery is the guy that he is because he has that autonomy. And I don't believe he's going to get that working under Ineos. Do you want it to be?
Do you want it to be Carrick?
I agree with what you're saying. I want it to be an elite manager. And when I look at the managerial landscape and say, well, who is actually available, who's attainable, and who's a good fit, it's very unlikely, Rory, that we're going to get Luis Enrique. Let's just be real. I don't think he even wants to leave PSG. There was a few rumours, and then he done a couple of other press conferences saying,
he's the best manager in the world.
That's not going to happen.
Manchester United. It's very unlikely.
He's not going to leave them to come to us. I did want Thomas Tuchel, but he signed up with England. Unless England go out in the group stages and he gets sacked and he's available again, that's not doable. Nagelsmann, still a big cultural shame, big shift. So none of them look appealing. None of them look like they're attainable, should I say? Not appealing, attainable. I absolutely agree with you. If you're talking to me about Glasner and De Zerbi and these types of guys and Iraola, I think it's Carrick. And do you know what?
And what about if it became Emery as a possible? Would you want Emery?
Emery could do good things, because he's a good manager, a very good manager. He will improve players. He will make Man United sustainable in the top 4 in terms of consistently getting in it, and giving him a better budget and bigger players. I think he can do some good things. But my worry would always be that self-combustion of when he has a different ideology or an idea about something and going a certain way, and Ineos have a certain way of going. You've seen how Sir Jim Ratcliffe is, how volatile he can be. That's just a recipe for disaster.
The likes of Wilcox would have to give a lot more power back to the manager.
It's not going to work. My biggest thing, Rory, actually is, I think recruitment is the biggest thing. Michael Carrick is proving, because he's in the process of doing it, is proving that he could be a safe pair of hands to just see us through the next couple of years. He can, keep the players locked in, keep things quite simple. He's not going to self-combust. He's not going to say anything crazy in the media. He's going to keep things simple. And like you said, with a good coaching setup, it looks all right. But if you get him good players and improve the squad and address the things we actually need and have a window similar to last with a couple more players that have really worked, then I think that's a bigger positive than trying to find this perfect manager. Because when you look around for these perfect managers, let's be honest, they're all young as well. Everything's a bit of a punt. What we're trying to do is we're trying to alleviate risk, and it doesn't exist. You have to take a risk. You take a risk on transfers. You take a risk on whoever the manager is. And if it doesn't go wrong, you have to sack them and move on. So I think there's still time for it to go wrong, though. That's why I've been a little bit non-committal, because it's like, you don't beat Villa. All of a sudden, could be back-to-back losses. Could end up six.
What about this then? You know how you're speaking about being slight, or at least reserving judgment, not necessarily committing yet.
Yeah.
There is a slight pitfall to that strategy. Michael Carrick is doing a wonderful job
as it stands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still
I mean,
we can only
judge.
still 7-8 games. What if the 7-8 games are not good and we don't finish?
A lot of people will be looking at the job that Michael Carrick is doing, and they will be very impressed.
Yeah.
Notably here, Tottenham, for example. Michael Carrick played for Tottenham. Tottenham will need a new manager at the start of the new season, whether that's in the Championship or the Premier League. They will need a new manager. They will need somebody who has an affinity with the club.
They want Pochettino.
They will need somebody who has. Yeah, I mean, they can want that.
They get Pochettino if they stay in the league. It'll be him. If it's a Championship, then yeah, by all means, Michael Carrick. Yeah,
maybe. I don't necessarily rate Pochettino that highly, but okay,
for Spurs, they might. Getting it and
but
all that.
Tottenham's an example.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there'll be a lot of other clubs looking at the job that Michael Carrick is doing. You don't want to miss the boat.
Yeah.
You don't like as Manchester United, you might not commit, and suddenly you find that the dilly-dallying has cost you.
Yeah, I get it. And listen, it is only 8 games. I still just need to see more. I do agree with that, but I do think we are scarred by the fact that we gave Ollie the job and it went so wrong in the end. I mean, we did finish second, third, to be fair, but in the end, it just went terribly wrong, and he wasn't good enough. So it's like he's been painted with the same brush, which is actually quite disingenuous to Michael Carrick. Different stories, different qualities of coaches completely. Michael Carrick has been speaking to the media today regarding the comments made by Paul Scholes on social media last week, and speaking to the press, he said that he discussed the situation. He said where it seemed as though Scholes criticised United's performances, but then clarified it was a misunderstanding. Let's hear what Carrick had to say on that.
It was nothing, really. There's nothing to say about it, really. I think that's just where we're at in terms of social media and things and captions and quotes, and it can be taken in different ways. So just be calm about it and understand actually what the real meaning of things. Listen, there's different opinions out there, and it's fine. People can have different opinions. It's just things get taken way out of one extreme to the other, and it is what it is. But I'm not worried about it, so I don't make a big deal of it either.
Yeah, Michael Carrick saying he's not really bothered about what happens on social media. And look, listen, I expect Michael Carrick to say that I am done with the Scholes thing. I was a bit disappointed with him tweeting that, putting it up on Instagram on his story immediately after the game. I just didn't think the intentions were pure in that moment.
But he has qualified the intentions and said that they
has, and said they wasn't. And that's what I'm saying. He's apologised now. Michael Carrick doesn't care. Like you said, we do have bigger things to sort out, so I'm not going to dwell on that. Michael Carrick has also spoken about Harry Maguire deserving an England call-up because he's been quite good since the turn of the year. Do you agree with that? Should he be in Thomas Tuchel's next? Yeah, we're not blessed with centre-backs, are we?
I've been very scathing towards Harry Maguire at various points, but I will also be very complimentary when he deserves it. And at the moment, Harry Maguire undoubtedly deserves to not only go to the World Cup, I would say start. I think Mark Gahey is England's best centre-half. I think Mark Gahey is England's best centre-half. And then having somebody like Harry Maguire who knows what it takes. Like, you've got to think about the teams that we're going to be playing largely international football. It's not going to be about Harry Maguire backs on the... it's not going to be about his defending ability. He's a threat in both boxes. He is incredibly well experienced. I think he will bring a calmness. I think Jordan Pickford will like having him in front. Yeah, I think there is a world... Look, part of me thinks John Stones has to start. If John Stones finds any sort of
the
form
best version of him is what we need. But
if he finds any sort of form
the best
of fitness
version of him
between now and the end, if John Stones plays the next 6 games, I think he has to go.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, Harry
After
Maguire,
that, it's
100%
opened.
Harry Maguire on the plane.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting with see what happens with Kobbie Mainoo as well. I saw Gary Neville say that he would take after Rice and Anderson, he would take Henderson and one of Mainoo and Wharton. But everyone was Wayne Rooney was pushing back, saying that.
What, you take both?
He takes both. He takes Wharton and Mainoo and leaves.
Yeah,
Henderson
I'd be
behind.
inclined to say take both. I think you need both, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. I think Kobbie Mainoo should be going. Very, very quickly before we break, Manchester United taking on Aston Villa on Sunday, 2 p.m. Give me a scoreline prediction.
I think Manchester United win. I think Villa are in freefall.
Yeah.
And Villa could be the reason why a lot of teams like Chelsea succeed.
Yeah.
Liverpool succeed because Villa are going to drop out of it.
Drop out and give it.
I think Villa get beat 2-0. Manchester United 2-0.
Tough game. I'm going to go Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 1. We do have a good record against them at Old Trafford of late, but it is a really tough game. And Carrick needs this actually as well, because things can get very negative and pendulums can swing very quickly. Back-to-back losses. Table looks a little bit different. We don't need that, so I'm going to go for a nervy win. Right, time now for everyone's favourite feature, Too Good, Too Bad.
Just a quick word on some of the other stuff that's been doing the rounds this week. Eddie Hearn's been making more noises, discussing the prospect of AJ. We don't even know when he's going to come back and start fighting again, taking on Tyson Fury. I mean, is this just sort of like, I don't know, barroom talk, or is there real feeling behind it? Is there some substance behind the prospect of them meeting finally?
I think there's a real thirst for it from everybody involved in being able to make that fight. I think we will be a lot further down the line, obviously, if Anthony hadn't suffered the tragedy that he suffered at the back end of last year. And that's the main thing, really, for me. Him getting his head in the right space to compete, competing for the right reasons, getting himself to a place of peace. I know that he's never, ever going to get over what happened to him, but if he can get to a place of peace where he can get back in the ring, he can compete, and if he does want to do that again, then I think the obvious turn would be Tyson Fury. I think it would be really, really sad for this era of boxing and this era of boxing fan, and for both of these guys, because I think they'll look back in years gone after their career that they should have done it. I hope that they can get to a point where they do it, because I still think that it is the biggest fight for two British lads stepping in a British ring. Fingers crossed it happens on British soil, that we can get.
Right, final prediction before I let you go. Who sinks more pints of Guinness over the weekend? You in Dublin or Crookie this afternoon while he's watching the Gold Cup?
Oh, that's a killer, that. I think Crookie takes it all. I've been out with Crookie on a couple of occasions, mate, and he is a phenom, isn't he? He knows what he's doing when it comes to sinking pints.
This is Thank Football. It's Friday with me, Flex, and you got Rory Jennings alongside me as well. We're going to be with you until 10 p.m. tonight. We've had a lot of fun tonight. We had a lot of fun tonight, Rory.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been good going through.
Just getting started as well. We've got another hour.
Exactly, the final power hour. Exactly, this is where we really ramp up the show. More Premier League previews to come your way. Right, but before that, live boxing returns to talkSPORT Network tomorrow night from Dublin as Jazza Dickens and Anthony Kakacha fight for the WBA World Super Featherweight title. Our expert team featuring John Rawling, Adam Cattrall, Gareth A. Davis and Spencer Oliver will be with you to bring you live commentary on the night, while you can also watch along from ringside via the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. That's live world title fight boxing tomorrow night, live across the talkSPORT network from 7 p.m. or watch live on DAZN. Right now, though, it's time for this.
Too good?
Todd Bowley has become our sporting director. The man's never worked in European football before. So the fact that he's now in charge of this recruitment drive fills me a little bit with fear.
Too bad.
Going out and signing with Richarlison, it's huge, isn't it? He will certainly score goals for them.
This is Too Good, Too Bad. It's where me and Rory pick out two things we're looking forward to seeing and two people who need a performance. I do love this part of the show. Rory, let's start on a lighter note. What are you looking forward to seeing? Who are you looking forward to having a performance from?
I'll tell you who needs a performance. And it's not only about the fixture this weekend. This is about them finding form now for the foreseeable. If Manchester City are to have any chance of winning the league, if we are, in fact, to have a title race in the final few weeks of the season, it's just essential that Erling Haaland becomes the Erling Haaland that he was at the beginning of the season. So in terms of the player that I'm looking forward to seeing,
but I also needs it. It's kind of both.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You have got one for what you want.
I need him to find form. But look, I think Arsenal are going to win the league. You and I have gone over this. But say Erling Haaland decides to really turn it on in the way that we know he can. What Man City are capable of doing? They've got probably the best goalkeeper in the world on form. They've got the best centre forward in the world on form when he's on form. Maybe Harry Kane, but okay, second best.
Yeah.
That can win you a league title on its own. So if Haaland clicks in the way that he did, you know, the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Imagine he replicates
He's not
that form.
Games at the minute, but
no, but say it comes.
Him, the team needs to click for that to happen because they need service.
Yeah.
Haaland's not going to go find the game and take the game.
No, but that's what he needs to do. He needs to become that centre forward in the way that Wayne Rooney would just win, drag Manchester United to victories, in the way that Didier Drogba would drag Chelsea to victories, in the way that Aguero would drag Man City to victories.
Yeah.
Haaland can win City a league. And that's why I'm looking forward to seeing him this weekend. What about you?
Do you know what? I've been quite miserable with this, Rory.
Go on.
Don't know. Because I don't like the Prem.
You're not playing? You're not playing the game?
No.
I mean,
I tried. No, I did try.
I'm not playing. I'm abstaining.
Do you know why? Because, Rory, I look at it and I go, well, who's the players banging form? Who do you... Like, you just spoke about Haaland there, but that was really from a...
Desperate.
That was really from a... Desperate. I really need him to do it. Not, I've really enjoyed watching him. We talk about Arsenal... This is where I'm going to probably contradict myself from, what I was saying. It shouldn't matter in terms of the context of how they win the league, but in terms of what individual do I look at the best team in the country and go, can't wait to see him play?
But are there any? Then do you know what I would have thought you would have said?
Who?
Cunha and Burma.
Like they've been lining up though. Like they've been good, but it's not like I can't wait to get in there because I'm going to see Cunha play. Like
you're not feeling it.
I'm not he's done well. I support him, but it's like who else? Like Chelsea. I can't wait to see Cole Palmer play against Newcastle.
I can't wait to see Alejandro Garnacho dribble the ball out of play.
Who's the players? Like even Igor Thiago, who's like, what's he got? Like 17 Premier League goals this year? Done unbelievable. Like it's patchy. Like the league's poor, mate.
The league is poor.
Like this, obviously Bruno Fernandes is my guy, and I'm like, he's been like one of the most consistent players. So I'm like, mate, he's been probably the most consistent player this year. But like last couple of games, it's still I can't put my hat on it of like. Oh, I'm going to get in the stadium. I can't wait to see this player play. I don't. It's more teams. It's more like, oh, no, Spurs need a result. So I'll be honest, no one.
That's
because no one's getting. You know what I mean? Normally there's a Salah's in form or Doku's twisting people up or what is there? You tell who's in form where they're like just so unplayable right now. Who is it?
Yeah, I know.
Semenyo scores goals, but it's like, oh, is that?
Yeah, I know,
who is it?
I agree with you. I do agree that football's not in its most pure state.
It's just not. So sorry to be a bit of a pooper there. Tell me who needs a performance.
I've gone for Igor Tudor.
Yeah.
I think for his it's over. I mean, it's probably over regardless. But if they get a victory against Liverpool, then I think they probably survive. That's the significance of the game.
Oh,
isn't it? You're not relegated
not
from the
gonna.
position they're in. No,
It's
they're not. They're going to get
impossible.
battered 5-0. But if they find that's not.
I don't think that'll happen though.
What?
I actually don't.
They're more likely to lose. They're more likely to concede 5. Tottenham are more likely to concede 5 than they are to get a point. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Have you seen who he said's out as well? Van der Ven's out. Paulini is
That's
out.
good.
Romero's
Van der
out.
Ven is a myth.
Yeah, I know, but considering that the players
Yeah,
that they got, like, you know, that means like
it's a problem. It's a
Archie
problem
might have to be
because
centre
it
back,
means
mate.
that geezer with the ponytails on his head's going to be
Dragosin.
who's one of the worst Premier League players I think I've ever seen play football. Like, you know, when Victor Gyökeres is bullying you in the Premier League, you know that you're
Made
not
him
really
look
a
like
Premier League
Ronaldo,
player.
and then since then, Victor Gyökeres has gone back to normal.
Yeah, because he was playing against Dragosin. Yeah, unreal.
It was fake, yeah.
Unreal. No, so I've gone for Igor Tudor. What about you? Who do you think needs a performance?
The obvious one would have been Spurs and stuff like that, but I've actually gone with the Chelsea goalkeeper, whether that would be Jorgensen or Sanchez, because they need a big performance because of what has been happening with Liam Reece trying to basically. It looks like he's trying to pivot, isn't he, from Sanchez? He dropped him against Villa. He won the game. And
it was really poor from. It was really poor from.
It's poor because now he's choosing the time to rotate the goalkeepers or try and find a new number one, and it's not going well. So if he puts Sanchez back in net, Sanchez needs a big performance, and if Jorgensen stays, he needs.
Do you know
a big
what I thought was so annoying about that? For 24 hours before we played in Paris, everybody was talking about the perils and the pitfalls of playing a young, inexperienced goalkeeper away from home in an intense atmosphere in Europe. Tottenham did it with Kinski in the Wanda Metropolitano. It didn't go well. We're then playing in the Parc des Princes against the European Championship. Against the European champions, and we've done that. It's like, what are you doing?
Why have you done this?
What are you doing?
But in his defence, is he not saying this is my number one goalkeeper? Because in the games that are the big games, like Wrexham, you expect rotation against Villa
It's just not the time to experiment, though, is it? At this stage of the season,
should it be Sanchez? Sanchez should be the number one
at the moment.
I know he's not.
It's like you know when Arsenal tried to do it, like fairly recently. They tried to play Saka as a number 10. I was like, don't be experimenting now.
Yeah.
Now's not the time for experimentation. Now's the time. You're on the final furlong, man. Just get there. Chelsea are in a similar situation.
Why do you think Rosinha's doing that? Is it because what he's seeing from Sanchez he just doesn't like? So he's like, want to get something out of Jorgensen, mate?
Yeah, I think it probably is that. And he's probably right because Robert Sanchez, again, isn't a good enough goalkeeper to be in goal for Chelsea.
Yeah, I do see what you mean. Right, okay, the second half of Wrexham is 1-0. It's 1-0 to Wrexham at the minute against Swansea. That's about to get underway on talkSPORT 2. But next up, we'll take a look at the other Premier League games this weekend.
In the past 10 years, on only one occasion has a side been on fewer points than Arsenal at this stage of the season. Leicester City, 63 points at this stage. Arsenal leading the Premier League on 67. Liverpool were also on 67 in 23-24, and they went on and finished third that year. I mean, does the fact that they have got that 7-point gap right now over Manchester City give them a little bit more insulation? Because Leicester didn't have that, did they?
No, they didn't. It was. I mean, you can't compare those. You can't compare the seasons. That was just
crazy.
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
I still can't even believe that it happened now. Really,
I find it's fascinating how much stick Arsenal are getting for the style and the set plays and trying to compare previous winners.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it does.
It doesn't
obviously
matter
does.
to them.
It obviously does. Yeah, it doesn't to them, but it obviously does to so many people.
But that's just because people don't want Arsenal to win it. That's got nothing to do with the fact that they really care about the style.
Are we really looking across the other teams and going, wow, what a team?
No, there's not.
They're so good to watch.
And going, I would prefer them to be.
champions. I would say the league as a whole this season has been
average.
Yes. Yeah, and it.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Leeds, their away form is a massive concern,
That is it. And you can hear the boos around Selhurst Park.
I'm sat here, Nige, shaking my head. I'm bemused of that performance.
I feel now we are starting the crunch time in the Premier League, and we are not there right now, but I feel we are going step by step into the right direction.
Crunch time in the Premier League, it is for so many. This is the real business end of the season. Myself, Flex and Rory, we're going to be with you until 10 p.m. It's time now to continue to preview some of the best games, all of the games really, to finish off our list. And that was a little package there, Crystal Palace taking on Leeds United. What have you made of Crystal Palace this year? You know, looking at the triumph from the FA Cup last year, the squad getting dismantled, you know, Glasner coming and speaking out and, you know, losing his head. Seemed to have settled that down a little bit. Looked like he was just sort of walking the plank or trying to get himself sacked. They refrained from sacking him. He is still there. They've managed to get a few results here and there. Obviously, destroyed Spurs last time out. Leeds United, Daniel Farke had done some really good stuff this year, but still not out of the woods yet. They can get dragged back in. People are not talking about Leeds.
We went a bit early with Leeds.
Yeah.
We said Leeds were safe because they got some massive results. They had a huge result against Chelsea at Elland Road. Yeah. Very good result against Liverpool at Elland Road. I think they drew in Manchester United at Elland Road. Like they've had some really big results, and I think as a result, we basically said, Leeds are going to be fine, without ever really looking at the points tally. The points accumulation isn't that impressive. They're still basically averaging a point a game, which should be enough, but they need to get some more points.
2 points ahead of Tottenham.
Yeah, it's not quite enough. They need a little bit more of a cushion, but I feel like they're playing. I feel like it's the perfect fixture, don't you think?
Yes, I mean Palace, exactly. It's one of those ones that are quite difficult to call because of the way Palace are. But I think if Palace turn it on, though, they should.
No, the reason why I think it's a perfect fixture is, firstly, Palace they're a little bit in disarray. They're a little bit in disarray. They're not a happy club. They're not a happy manager. I think the manager is a disgrace. It's not that I don't rate him.
Was calling him out last time.
I think he's a brilliant manager. Yeah. There was a time when I was saying that he should be the Manchester United manager.
Yeah.
I was saying that he should be the next Manchester United manager, what he had done at Crystal Palace. And everything I'm about to say that is so disparaging, and some will say disrespectful about him, none of it is about his managerial ability. I just think that he has behaved disgracefully. The way that he has treated that club is appalling. Talking about the having their heart ripped out and things like that. It's like, you're the Crystal Palace manager. Roll with the punches. They didn't sell Gahey when they could have sold him for about 65 million quid. So it cost Palace 30 million quid to pacify you so that you don't throw your toys out the pram. So I think that for Leeds to play Palace now, it's the dream fixture, because Palace are safe. They're not happy, and most crucially, they just played away from home. They've just played in Europe.
Yeah.
They've just played at home in Europe. They've got to worry about that fixture.
0-0 against Larnaca as well. Not great.
So I think that
it's got draw written all over
when you play in Europe, you're almost, particularly if you're a side like Palace who aren't used to the rigorous nature of playing Premier League football and European football.
Yeah.
When you play in Europe, you're almost more likely, more susceptible to dropping points domestically off the back of playing in Europe. That's why I think this is a great opportunity for Leeds, not only for a point. I think Leeds should be looking at going and winning at Palace.
I look at Palace and I don't know, they've got 3 wins out of the last 5. It's not as bad as everyone is making out. It is in terms of what's happened at the club, but actually they're still a good team. They're still a good team. They've still got like some really good players. You know, Sarr's fantastic. Wharton dictates and causes massive problems. Munoz flying up and down. You know, the centre backs are still pretty strong. They're a good side. Strand Larsen's taken to it, and he's a good manager. So these things can kick in, and the baptism of fire of the Premier League can kick in. And I just think Leeds are, they're in that period. They just need to
think about winning the European trophy, don't they? Like, imagine Palace winning European silverware.
100, and they're not performing very well in the Conference League when they should be kind of walking it, really. So I agree. Right, give me a prediction for that before we move on to 5.
I think Leeds are going to win the game.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Leeds will win it 1-0.
I think draw, but if I was going to pick a win, I'd probably
pick Palace. Do you think Leeds survive? If you think they survive.
There's a swing, there's 3
Yeah, but what do you think, ultimately? At the end of the season, are Leeds a Premier League side? Well, look, if you think that...
I think they will.
If you think Leeds survive, they're going to need to pick up some points somewhere, and I think there isn't a better place to do it than Crystal Palace after playing in Europe.
I'm going to predict a twist. No, I think Leeds go down.
You've been saying Tottenham will go down half hour ago.
No, I said I think they'll survive because I don't think people will be good enough to capitalise. I think Leeds are going to get dragged in. Leeds will be in the bottom 3.
You do realise this is all recorded?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Leeds.
You tell me Tottenham will be relegated.
Leeds. Yeah, Leeds. I changed my mind.
Half hour ago.
No, I said I don't know how Tottenham are going to get the players to get out of it if Harry comes in.
Yeah, that's
You didn't ask me about Leeds, to be fair.
That is fair.
At that point, you didn't give me the option. Leeds weren't on the menu. You've just added them on the menu. Another relegation. Listen, Forest. Big game against Fulham, this. Well, every game's a big game for them. I look at the Forest team with a little bit of that snobbery, which you shouldn't do because it's a relegation battle. But I just look at the team and I'm like, that team, with the players they got, will find they're too good to go down.
Elliot Anderson does not get relegated. Elliot Anderson won't. Do you know why? Do you know why they survive?
Murillo, Milenkovic.
Elliot Anderson won't allow it. No, sometimes you have that situation. Elliot Anderson won't allow them to be relegated. It's simple as that.
No, it needs to be more than just him. He can't do it by himself.
He won't have to.
It's people like Gibbs White. Carl Hudson-Odoi won't let it run. Do you know what I mean? Like Milinkovic at the back is sort of like cells just start performing. No, Nico Williams.
Bad result in Europe, I thought.
It was a bad result.
Bad result.
Going to Michelin's awful.
I didn't see it coming either.
But they've got fight. They've got a bit about them. Like I said, a draw at City shows that. And I think they win this game. I think this is the game that they go, nah, not tonight, boys. At home, in front of these fans, we have to win this game. Let's put some serious pressure on Spurs and make it that they have to win as well. Fulham are a weird proposition because there's times where they do really well, they're in good form, difficult to beat, and there's times where they have these silly results where they're sort of doing nothing. I think they made 9 changes in the FA Cup, which didn't have a big go at that. I don't get that for Marco Silva. They're completely safe, never going to get relegated.
But Fulham could still make it into Europe.
Exactly, they've got something to play for. So I just don't get it. But I don't think they beat Forest. I think Forest win this. I'm going to go Forest. Yeah. I'm going to go 3-2.
The only reason I think that Fulham have a really good chance is I'm going back to playing in Europe. Like the impact of playing in Europe. I feel like this could be a draw. Which we kind of do for Forest.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst.
Keep picking up points.
The home.
Make sure that you're picking up points.
Home game though should be at home when they're looking at how they're going to stay in this league. They're going Fulham at home, win. Yeah. You go City away, get something out of that. You've just got a point at City. You need to be winning this game.
I do agree with that, but maybe because you got the point against City, a point here.
Nah, it's their home games, man.
No, you're right. Forest, if Forest are going to need to pick up some victories,
that's how you stay in the league. By beating Fulham at home. Yeah. Sunderland versus Brighton. This is an interesting game. Obviously, Sunderland have had an amazing season, but their form has dropped off. They lost the last 3 in a row. 3 losses out the last 5 with 1 draw, 1 win.
Because they've hit the 40-point barrier, haven't they?
Exactly, and it's very difficult, for them to keep going at that.
Yeah, they
pace.
They will not be relegated.
No, absolutely will not be relegated. Brighton. They've had an up and down season with Fabian Herzler below Sunderland in the table. Brighton, they're safe, of course. Not going to get dragged into it. 6 points ahead of Leeds United in 14th place. But 14th place for Brighton when they've had aspirations of maybe trying to sneak in Europe, trying to be at the other end of the table.
I thought Brighton at one point were in major jeopardy for being relegated, but I think they beat Forest. And that was when I realised.
They destroyed them, I think 3-0, right?
That was when I realised that they were going to be all right.
Yeah. In this game, Sunderland against Brighton, how do you see this?
I think Sunderland will get back to winning ways, actually.
Do you think? Stadium light, a bit before.
Yeah, I think Sunderland will get back to winning ways. It's all gone a little bit wrong for Herzler. They're going to be fine. They're not.
Do you think he'll still be the manager next season?
No, actually.
Does it feel a bit stale? Does it feel a bit like?
I think it's gone flat. I think the fans are beginning to get slightly bored.
What do you think he's a good manager? Has he got a ceiling? Does he get another Premier League job?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because he's so young as well, isn't he? I mean, it's quite a boring conversation because everybody flags his age the second you meet, that you discuss him.
Like Milner's older than him and that.
Yeah, but ultimately, I think he will, but I think he may also have to go abroad for a bit. I don't think he's particularly inspiring.
Yeah,
and that's part of the reason that Brighton potentially will move on from it.
He had a right pop at Arteta as well. Arsenal fans don't like him at the minute. He did apologise for that in his presser.
Yeah, he was wrong. He
was just so bitter what he was saying.
Yeah, he was wrong.
He was just so angry. So score prediction for that. You think Sunderland are going to get the job done? I think that's got draw written all over it. To be fair, I'm going to go 1-1. To be fair, right. There's still 2 more Premier League games to look ahead this weekend on the other side.
Isn't it strange that we get 6 sides that every single English side went through? Newcastle were the only side that had to qualify via the playoff system.
Yeah.
But not one English side in the Premier League. And we like to think that we are. And I think there is a bit of arrogance. I do subscribe to that point of view. But is there something in the fact that maybe the Premier League is so demanding? So, for example, right, PSG this weekend have had their game cancelled to play Chelsea so that they have the rest between that they played last night and the next time they're going to play is against Chelsea on Tuesday. Look, I don't see us turning it around at all, but we play Newcastle on Saturday. The league is demanding, or is that me just kind of making excuses for the Premier League?
No. Do you know what? Also, you got to look at this. So I understand what you're saying. You're not making excuses for the Premier League, but the Premier League might need to start working with the football clubs.
How's that going to work?
League. Well, Liga 1 done it. They moved games, cancelled the game to fit it into the PSG schedule to make it easier on the players.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
They want to retain the Champions League.
Yes.
It's a prestige trophy.
Of course.
So if your league has got that, so a team from your league has got the Champions League, it just makes you more prestige.
Here's the issue that's going to happen. Here's the problem, is that there have been examples of managers complaining, and I think some unfairly at times, about playing on a Wednesday and then playing on a Saturday 12:30 kickoff. Klopp famously done it at a fallout with one of the reporters. But you cannot show favouritism in England.
Keep striving and keep trying to push like we have done all season to finish as high as we can.
High ball over the top from Johnston. Hwang is in and scores.
Now we've got a cup final against Brentford. We know where we're at. We know we've got 8 games left this season now. So we're all focus now is on Brentford.
Back Football is Friday with me, Flex, and Rory Jennings. 10 p.m. we will be out of here, so you've got us for about another 40 minutes or so. Good fun, good vibes, good energy. We're going to carry on with our Premier League previews. Brentford against Wolverhampton Wanderers. We just heard from Rob Edwards there as well. On Wolves, Rory, I have to say, like, we had them down, obviously, worst Premier League team ever. You know, all the games they were losing back to back. But since Rob Edwards has gone in there, mate, if they would have made that change earlier, maybe they could have stayed in.
It's not quite since he went in there.
Well, I suppose, they did lose the first few.
Yeah, it took a while.
But there were signs, though, early on. Even in the games they were losing, there was still something. They weren't getting battered 3-4-0 every week. They were in games and would lose narrowly.
Yeah, and look, Rob Edwards has done a remarkable job.
He has.
And if he wasn't such a Judas to Middlesbrough, I'd want them to stay up. Like, I think he's done I separate the managerial ability from the way that I feel about the way he treated Middlesbrough. Yeah. I think it was very poor what he did to Borough, but I also think that he's an excellent manager. And look at what he's done at Wolves. There is a chance. It's ridiculous. It won't happen. But there is a chance. And it would be a black country rivalry, wouldn't it? If Wolverhampton Wanderers do pull this out the bag, it will be better than what Brian Robson did at West Brom.
Yeah.
It will be better than what Kieran Richardson did at West Brom. And it would be Wolverhampton Wanderers doing it, which is like the rivalry.
And I mean, it's like you said, it's not going to happen.
It's not. They basically have to win every game between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, that's to get them to 40. And they're not going to do that.
No, I agree with you.
It's actually impossible.
But they've played with pride, and I think a lot of the time that's what you want.
Such a difficult game
as a fan. That's all you want.
Yeah, they got to play Spurs as well. I think they got to play Spurs away. Spurs got to play them away.
I'll tell you what would be impressive: simply not finishing bottom.
Yeah,
simply not finishing bottom.
In fact, that's possible. They could finish 19th. They're 3 points behind Burnley, so it's a shootout to finish between 19th and 20th. And I agree that the heart and fight that they've showed. Under Rob Edwards, difficult to beat, not a foregone conclusion. You look at what happened against Arsenal. You look at what they did against Liverpool in the league. It's just been unbelievable. It really, really has for them, and I like what they've been doing. Keith Andrews.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. You know when we've said that it's not possible, we've said Wolverhampton Wanderers cannot stay up.
Come on, Rory.
Okay.
Go on. Tell me where it is possible.
I totally concede that it's really unlikely, but I like the idea of a great escape. I like the idea of a historic...
Maybe the best one in history.
If they were to win their next two, then I think all of a sudden the team in 17th at that point will be really worried.
Because the next two does include West Ham.
Yeah. If they can win their next two, there is a chance. Like, if we're sitting here in
There isn't, Rory.
There is a chance if they win their next two in a row.
I don't think there is. I like where you're going with it, because listen, that would be an incredible story, but I just don't.
You know what? I'm going to take back everything I said about Rob Edwards. As much as just in terms.
No, you just said it to me about changing my mind. No,
I'm not.
You know this is recorded, right?
Sorry, I stand by everything I said. But I think I said that I didn't want them to stay up because of it. I actually do want them to stay up now because I like the idea of making it.
But then Rob Edwards would go down as one of the great escapist artists of all time.
It's like Steve Ball, Rob Edwards, isn't it?
Yeah, not far. Get his own stand if he keeps them up.
Yeah.
With that. Exactly.
There is a chance, Flex.
There isn't, Rory.
If they win their next 2 games in a row, then we need to reconvene.
And I really like what they're doing, but we just have to be real. Wolves fans, if you're listening, sorry, I don't mean to be too pessimistic, but I think you're just enjoying yourself on the way out, which has been, unbelievable, right? Brentford, Keith Andrews. I mean, look, we're fed up.
Manager of the year. Just manager of the year. I don't care who wins the league now. Manager of the year
doesn't matter.
Is Keith
so
Andrews.
Arteta shouldn't get it if he wins the league. It should be him. It should be Keith Andrews. You can't say that, Rory.
I'm inclined to actually say it is Keith Andrews.
Pound for pound, it is, like in terms of the job he's done. But come on, winning Arsenal's first.
What's more surprising?
I know.
What's more surprising? What's more of an achievement? Let's say Brentford finish 6th. That's Brentford in Europe. What's more surprising?
Arsenal winning their first title in 22 years.
Yeah. What's more surprising? Arteta winning a league.
Well, it is more surprising that they've stayed in the division.
What's a bigger achievement? I think Brentford all the way. Look, Brentford.
A bigger achievement's always winning the Premier League.
No, Brentford lost their 2 top goal scorers last season. They lost their captain Norgard to Arsenal. They lost their manager and they lost the kitchen sink because he took everything with him. Right? Yeah. He took everything. Somehow, they've got better.
Yeah, 7th in the Premier League.
They are 7th in the Premier League. They're also a joy to watch. 2 wingers, bombing forward, big centre forward. They're a great side.
Yeah. They've got the second highest scorer in the league, Nico Thiago.
Well, he's going to be leading the line for Brazil at a World Cup, the Brentford centre forward. That doesn't demonstrate what's wrong with football.
That'll probably be João Pedro.
If that doesn't demonstrate where football's broken, that the Brentford centre forward
He's not. It'll be João Pedro.
I mean, well, with Tudor, Brentford will have a player in the Brazil.
Not R9.
Yeah. But I would honestly say that Keith Andrews deserves it. Yeah. Also, Flex, I mean, I'm not known for decent predictions, but I said they were down. I said they were dead as a dodo before the season had started. I said they had no chance. I said the fact that they lost Thomas Frank and they brought in the set-piece manager was very disparaging. I didn't think they had a prayer.
Okay, well, that game is exclusively live on talkSPORT Monday, 8 p.m. Wolverhampton Wanderers travelling to the GTEC Stadium to face Brentford. Give me a prediction, Rory. After all of this, waxing lyrical.
Wolves win. Wolves win.
You don't believe that.
Wolves win.
Brentford 2-0, I'm going. Give me a prediction, Burnley versus Bournemouth.
1-0.
That's a proper draw. Yeah, I think Bournemouth win that.
1-0.
I think Bournemouth win that 2-1. Interesting post on X from David Ornstein. He says Tottenham Hotspur are actively working on candidates to replace Igor Tudor if a decision is taken to make another head coach change after the Liverpool trip. It's unclear whether it would be an interim appointment again or a longer-term appointment, but Tottenham Hotspur exploring options. I mean, that is, that's newsflash. That should have happened ages ago. If they are working on candidates, why hasn't he been replaced yet? Is that just why? Because does this just prove how inept they are?
You can't. I think.
Why can't they? What is this? Why they can't do it?
No, you can't do it. You can't do it on the eve before you play Liverpool. Like you have to get through the Liverpool game, try and get some points there.
Then obviously not.
If that doesn't happen, then
sack him immediately. He's going to get sacked after Liverpool. That's what's going to happen here.
Assuming they don't pick up any points,
because they're not going to.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So he's going to get sacked.
And then it needs
another interim to the end of the season. Do you think they get someone permanent?
Interim. You can't give somebody the job. You don't know what league you're going to be in. You can't commit to someone, can you? Also, the person that you're committing to probably doesn't want to commit either.
Yeah. Do people want that Spurs job?
Yeah.
Who wants it?
Everyone. It's a massive club.
Massive club. Don't want it. Apparently. Deitch. Saying now, mate. I'm all right. Ange wants to go back there?
I don't know that for a fact. I imagine that if you offered Sean Dyche the job and you said, we'll give you £1 million to keep us up, I think he said
7
yes.
games. Keep us up.
I think he said. Also, it's not 1 million, is it? To keep him up, it's worth 5 million.
Yeah, it's 5 million. Nice little bonus on that. Yeah, very interesting. Keep your eyes peeled to see what Spurs do. Those are the predictions for the Premier League. Next up, we'll be looking ahead to the Championship this weekend.
if you're taking out form right now, it has to be Harvey Barnes.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he steps on the pitch, I don't think he's going to score. He's so powerful and so quick. When he runs, it's almost like, oh my goodness, you're not catching him.
Yeah.
And that's where Thomas Tuchel, because I mentioned Barnes, Gordon, Rashford, Foden. You then got Palmer. I'm talking about attacking 10 attacking options.
Yeah.
You got Palmer, Saka, Madueke, Bowen, Bellingham can play 10. Rodgers can play left.
Yeah.
I mean, there are going to be some big names on that list that don't go.
Yeah, but annoyingly, out of all of those players, none of them are really smashing it at the moment. Rodgers maybe is doing pretty well. Bellingham's been out injured.
Yeah.
Nothing from Foden.
No,
Cole Palmer's gone a little bit cold.
Yeah. Saka's not, obviously the numbers haven't been there. Madueke's in and out. But
isn't that bizarre? If we were doing this World Cup a year ago, we'd be buzzing with those players.
But and as I said, Barnesy.
Barnesy, giving the old John Barnesy Barnesy.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes. He's right now he's probably in the best form out of all of them.
On the left-hand side, Rashford was on the bench last night, right?
Yeah.
Who starts for England on the left for you out of those two, Rashford and...
Oh, Rashford would be first, because Rashford for England's been good.
He does?
Yeah.
Does that matter? It's a good point you make. Does that matter? If you're really good for England, but you're not doing it at club level, and some players are like that...
Danny Welbeck was a prime example of that.
Okay. Does your league form matter too much when the manager knows when you put the English shirt on, you perform?
Yeah, I think for certain players, I think it does matter. Because, again, a prime example was the last Euros, not the one in Germany, the one before that, sorry.
Yeah.
Where we was all saying Sterling can't go, his form wasn't there, and he was our best player.
That's a great point.
But you know what Sterling's going to get experience, you know exactly that when it's the highest, he can step up.
Frank Football, it's Friday. We are done with the Premier League. We've done all of our previews. It's EFL time now with myself, Flex, and Rory Jennings for about the next half an hour or so. Over on talkSPORT 2 currently, there's exclusive action in the Championship. It's Wrexham 1, Swansea 0. We can now join the action with former England defender Mickey Gray and your match commentator, John Dunn.
Right-footed ball. It's come off the head of Hyam. Unfortunately, Okonkwo in the right position to grab it at the edge of his own penalty area. We're joined by listeners of talkSPORT in what's been a ferocious Welsh derby here at the racecourse ground. 75 minutes gone, Wrexham 1, Swansea 0. Nathan Broadhead with that first half goal, but Mickey Gray, it's been end to end and a thrilling watch, breathless at times.
I've absolutely loved it. It's been frantic, it's been end to end. We've had a wonderful goal scored from Wrexham in the game. The atmosphere has been outstanding. We've seen some great football. Swansea is just trying to get back into the game, but need to start asking a few more questions if they're going to get anything from the racecourse ground tonight, because at the moment Wrexham are comfortable.
Here could be a chance as it slipped through to Yom on the far side. The right-footed cross from the South Korean international off the bench, brilliantly found by Ethan Galbraith, who's had a great game in that Swansea midfield, a creator in chief, but he hasn't quite found the spark that's got the goal that will get Swansea back into this game, despite constantly probing towards that Wrexham penalty area. Looks as though Ji-sung Yom has got a long throw in his armour. He is wiping the ball on his white shirt over on the far side and then flinging it in towards the penalty spot. Burgess was rising. It's going to come back to Yom by the corner flag. manages to keep possession and feed it into Josh Key, the right back who joined that attack. He loses possession. Rathbone with a ball forward, bounced off the hand of Josh Tyman. Now Windass would have been clean through behind him. Big decision for the referee. A yellow card is pulled from the side pocket to try and calm down the players that have surrounded him.
Well, it's probably yellow card, John, because he's so far away from his own goal. Yes, he's the last man in defence, and it looks like Windass is through if he gets that first contact with that ball, but we can see it hits his arm, and you can hear the Wrexham supporters going absolutely crazy. But I think the thing that saves him is he's pretty much in the centre circle. If he's closer to his own goal, I think Swansea are down to 10 men.
It will be a Wrexham free kick. Anger in the stands and on the touchline. Phil Parkinson has made his feelings very clear. Not just to the fourth official, but I think Victor Manos might be getting a bit as well as the free kick is taken quickly. Cabango had to react quickly with Windass closing him down left side of the penalty area. And now Swansea come forward with Galbraith, but O'Brien wins it back, but illegally. Free kick to Swansea. Wrexham 1, Swansea 0.
Pulsating stuff there at the racecourse. I mean, me and Rory just debating that.
I thought that was
lucky.
I think that's very lucky. I felt sure that would have been a red card. Josh Windass is through on goal, and he's a very good player, very good finisher.
Yeah.
I think he scores in that situation.
Yeah, he's got away with one there. That is Wrexham 1, Swansea 0. You can get your updates there over there on talkSPORT 2 currently. Time now to speak to Carl Robinson, former Wolves, Sunderland and Wales midfielder. Carl, good evening to you, my friend. How are you, mate? You all good?
Yeah, good. Thanks, gents. How are you?
Good. We are. I mean, it's a crazy game at the minute between Wrexham and Swansea. What do you think Wrexham's chances are of going up at the first time of asking, getting their fourth, consecutive promotion? I mean, it'd be some go in that.
It would. I was going to start off the conversation by saying how good the ref's been, and then I see the handball decision, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll readjust my thinking on that. So, no, listen, them and Birmingham were in the same conversation after the promotion last year. Both American owners, both big money spent. I think Wrexham have, with a calm head in Phil Parkinson, have done exceptionally well to be in and around the playoffs. They've grinded out a lot of results. I think today's game, you're seeing two totally different systems, philosophies. They're quite happy to sit deep in a mid-block 5-4-1, and Swansea want to be attacking, want to have the ball and have at times up to 80% possession. So it doesn't matter about that. It's about who scores goals and big moments, and Wrexham are on top at the moment.
Carl, can I ask you your thoughts on Wrexham and the takeover and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively and whatever else? Flex and I were having a debate about it, and I think Flex was slightly more supportive of the Hollywood intrusion into football than I was. You're Welsh. You come from football. What do you think? Am I right here, or am I just too cynical and sneery?
I think a little bit of both. I actually enjoy when clubs get bought and get extra funding for stadium infrastructure or players, and want to try and increase the revenue by bringing in top players and try and gain promotion, because everyone talks about the Championship being arguably one of the best leagues in the world for energy and for anticipation. And I think it is, because it's hard to predict. The American owners coming in, obviously there's influx at the moment that if you're trying to buy an MLS franchise, they're valued between 500 million and 1.4 billion into Miami. So that's too much probably for people. So they're ending up coming over here and looking at fantastic opportunities in England, because some clubs are finding it very difficult at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with you, Carl. I get where Rory's coming from, but at the same time, you ask those Wrexham fans how they feel on the journey that they've been on, and I do think it's a good thing. Tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. That is Middlesbrough against Bristol City. That's live and exclusive on talkSPORT, Carl. Middlesbrough sit in second place, automatic promotion spot, but they've got Millwall hot on their tails. Do you think Middlesbrough would crack under the pressure and maybe fall into the playoff spots? Of course, using Rob Edwards, through the season, but still in a good position. But do you think they can see it through?
Well, I think they've been exceptional, barring the other day on Tuesday, Wednesday. So they obviously slipped up at home to Nathan Jones's Charlton. And, prior to that, they're dealing with the pressure significantly well. Now they've got a real task on their hands, because it's not just Millwall, it's Ipswich as well. Ipswich are finding ways to win as well. And they've been there and done it before, Kieran McKenna, so he'll know what it takes. And it'll be interesting to see if they drop a place, because there's only 1 or 2 points between them, and how they deal with being third or fourth, because sometimes it's easier being the chaser rather than being the chased.
Exactly. I did that. You know what? And Rory, because he, really didn't like what happened with Rob Edwards going out. You want to see him go up, wouldn't you, Rory?
I'd like to. I certainly like to
of
see.
them
Yeah,
losing
no,
their
I
manager,
would.
you'd love to see
I would
Middlesbrough
certainly
go
like
up,
to
wouldn't
see.
you?
Yeah, I would like to see Middlesbrough.
Or would you love to see Millwall in the Prem? Look at that for away day.
No, I don't think I would. I'd like to see Middlesbrough. I'd certainly like to see Middlesbrough out of those two.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate that Rob Edwards is a good manager, but there was a slight aftertaste in the way that all went. Carl, can we talk about West Brom and Hull? West Brom obviously chasing their first league win in 13 games, and they sit in 23rd spot. However, a win tomorrow, it could take them out of the relegation zone if other results go their way. Do you think they'll get it?
Well, it's incredibly difficult at the moment being a Baggies fan. It really is. And seeing them at the start of the year with all of the expectation with Ryan Mason, a new young manager coming from Tottenham, and money spent as well, didn't work out. They've replaced him with Eric Ramsey, the Welsh guy, obviously coming from Major League Soccer, and they decided to pull the plug early on Eric. And now James Morrison's in there on a temporary basis, or till the end of the year if he does well. But once you're down there, it's very, very difficult. Teams keep picking up results. Matt Bloomfield at Oxford has picked up 3 wins in a row. Gary Rowett, obviously, at Leicester, you're talking about trying to pick up points. And it's not just fighting for one spot now, because Oxford 2 weeks ago were done. Now it's 2 spaces. So it's very difficult for them. And Hull have got to respond as well. They're a gritty team, Hull. They got some good players. Lewis Kumas is doing exceptionally well, obviously, after it not working out at Birmingham. And if they can get their attacking players, Ollie McBurney as well, fly in, they'll be a dangerous team as well. So it's going to be difficult for West Brom tomorrow, but they need to start winning soon.
Yeah, I bet they do, and that's live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2. The game's not on UK TV though, so remember that. You can listen in live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2 for that one. Monday 8 p.m. Carl, it's Portsmouth versus Derby. That is live and exclusive also on talkSPORT 2. Portsmouth are also in a relegation battle, sitting in 19th spot there on 40 points. There's now 5 clubs competing in the battle not to finish 23rd or 22nd, in Derby in 8th spot. They're pushing for a playoff place. Portsmouth, they're top of their mini relegation battle. Do you think they've got enough to be safe?
Well, they've got to start winning. I'll say that. They're throwing away stupid points, silly points by, lapses of concentration and things like that. Derby are a very difficult team to play against. John Eustace has probably evolved over the time of Birmingham, Blackburn, and now at Derby, playing Ryan Brewster off the left, coming inside to add an extra forward to Ajuman. They are a dangerous team, and they're quite happy to soak up pressure and get you on the counter-attack. So it's going to be a difficult game for Portsmouth. Obviously, I've got a little bit of bias because I'm a former player. I want them to do well. I think the manager's an exceptional young manager as well in his first job. So fingers crossed for him. But it's going to be a tough game on the weekend.
Yeah, tough one, absolutely. Carl, it's always a pleasure, mate. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, soaking in all of the EFL action there. Carl Robinson, former Wolves, Sunderland and Wales midfielder. That was your very latest on the EFL. It's still currently Wrexham 1, Swansea 0 over on talkSPORT 2. And that is going into the 85th minute now. In that Welsh derby there, it's all going off an end-to-end pulsating game. Next up here, though, we'll be taking a look at some new rules which are said to be being introduced for the World Cup.
On this week's Inside Liverpool, winger Jermaine Pennant gave some of his own stats on Honest Lot after hearing about the Dutchman winning 62 of those 100 in charge.
We've lost to Galatasaray twice without scoring a goal. They finished 20th in the league phase. We've lost both to Man City and Man United at Anfield. We've lost 4-1 to PSV. Then the next game after that, 3-0 to Forest at home, both games at Anfield. We failed to beat Leeds twice this season. We failed to beat all 3 promoted teams at Anfield. We've lost 3 times to Crystal Palace this season. Lost to Wolves, Brentford, and Bournemouth away. Now, I don't know who you blame for that. I don't know if you blame the players or the manager, but hearing that is absolutely shocking. As current Premier League champions, that is dreadful.
Jermaine Pennant there on Inside Reds. And if you want to watch the latest Inside series, all the episodes are available on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. That's all thanks to BetMGM 18+, begambleaware.org.
Inside series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Are those fair stats for Jermaine Pennant to use in his argument against Arne Slot?
Well, they are facts, aren't they? So, and it depends on the standard which you judge Liverpool by, and you know them standards have certainly dropped a long way below what.
Win a VIP trip to the British Grand Prix on talkSPORT.
This is Thank Football. It's Friday here with myself, Flex, and Rory. If you are a Wrexham fan or if you're a Swansea fan or you want to know what's going on in the Championship, it's currently Wrexham 2, Swansea 0 in the 88th minute. It looks like Wrexham are going to get all 3 points. A massive boost for them to go 6 points clear of Southampton ahead of the weekend's fixtures to cement their place in the playoffs for their quest for Premier League football. Right, listen up, F1 fans. We are sending 2 of you to the British Grand Prix on Sunday the 5th of July at Silverstone. You'll have the full racing green trackside experience with exclusive grandstand seats and inner track access to watch the drivers roll into the paddock. All-day street food and a fully open bar and much more. Don't miss out. And here's how to enter for your chance to win. Text WIN to 83333. 8 text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close on the 20th of March 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus. UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Right, Rory, we're turning our attention towards the World Cup and some potential, approving of new rules for the World Cup. New rules. Are you a fan of the game changing for the better and new rules coming in to stop certain things? We'll run through them in a minute, but just that as a notion of improving the game to make it better, make it flow.
Generally, I'm resistant to these things. Generally, I'm resistant because I don't feel like they ever try and improve the game in the way that it needs to be improved.
Okay, well, let me run these by you, these proposals, and let me see what you think about it. FIFA has approved several new rules for the 2026 World Cup aimed at reducing time wasting and improving decisions. First one, substituted players must leave the pitch within 10 seconds or the replacement waits 1 minute before entering. Do you like that?
It just seems completely impractical. Do you know the issue with it? In principle, it makes sense, but the problem is referees are going to have to enforce this.
Yeah.
And it's going to create a load of bureaucracy. It's going to create a load of problems. The debate around it, a player saying, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's just causing more.
So when does the 10 seconds does it begin as soon as the fourth official has held the board up with your number? So your 10 seconds starts now. Does it start as soon as the announcer has said it? Like that's going to get a little bit difficult to enforce. But I like the notion of, sometimes subs do walk really slowly to come off the pitch to waste more time. But I don't know how realistic that's going to be of enforcing. How about this one, Rory? Throw-ins must be taken within 5 seconds, otherwise possession goes to the other team.
Yeah,
5 seconds.
5 seconds is, again, it's
That's
ridiculous.
too quick.
It's too quick. It's impossible as well. It's impossible to have found a man in space. It basically means that a long throw-in will never happen again.
Yeah, but you want that. Oh, no, you don't mind, actually. No, you're
I don't
not.
mind.
No,
I've got no
yeah,
issue with long
but for
throws.
people who don't like the long throws and all that, it would maybe eradicate that.
I've got no
time to wipe the ball dry with a towel or with your shirt. You just got thrown in.
No, I don't. I just don't understand what we're doing. There are so many basic things that you could solve. You know, if somebody just went, why don't we just scrap VAR?
Yeah.
Why don't we only use VAR? Why don't we only use technology for the goal line?
It's goal line technology.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, why don't we bring back the daylight rule for offsides?
Oh, well, that is Arsene Wenger's trying to do that, and I think that's getting trialled in Canada.
No, but Arsene Wenger's also doing some crazy things. I heard that he's really got the hump with throw-ins.
Oh, what does he want to do? He wants to do kick-ins, doesn't he?
Wants to do kick-ins. He hates throw-ins.
That's like remember 5-side when you're younger, you could kick it in.
He was Northampton Boys Club. He seems to have the hump with
Charterist and Quilban.
Yeah, no, I don't. I generally speaking, I find these things so annoying. Just focus on the things that actually need improving.
Players who receive medical treatment must leave the pitch for 1 minute before returning.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea in principle. That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah.
It means that you can't go down feigning injury, getting the medical staff on unless you actually mean it.
You said about just using VAR or just using goal line technology, but here's a VAR one for you. VAR can now review second yellow cards and corner kick decisions if there is a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, you agree with that?
No, I agree. Look, I don't want VAR in the game, but if it's going to be in the game, it should be in the game
That should never have been a corner, and they've scored from that, so that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And second yellow cards, like, he's dragged him back, you've missed it, he should be off. You've got to give him a second yellow.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like what I find quite infuriating is, you know, when we're watching the game on the telly and we can look at it and go, that's not a corner. We're the least important people in the world in this situation. The most important person in the world at that precise moment is a ref. And I have more information available to me than the referee. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is wild. If there was before we move on to other football news, if there was one rule? I know, like, just getting rid of VAR is your thing, but if there was one rule you're in charge, you could change it.
Oh, I would immediately bring in the daylight rule for offside.
That's the one.
Yeah, I give the striking team the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's so obvious as well. Is there daylight? Isn't there daylight? If there's daylight,
if you can see a tiny little gap, if there's any green,
any chink of daylight, that immediately means that you're offside. If there is no daylight, you are 100% onside. So Coventry would have knocked Man United out of the cup.
Yeah,
that would,
because the toenail doesn't count.
The toenail nonsense. We're never drawing lines ever again. That would be my improvement. What do you reckon to it?
I mean, yeah, obviously for that situation when we were 3-0 up and absolutely bottled it against.
But do you agree with that?
Yes, I want to say, when you see, there was one the other day. Was it Sarr? Was it Sarr?
Yeah,
because his nose. Yeah. You know, it's like. Yeah. When players are gaining no attacking advantage, like you can't tell me that that's an advantage.
Exactly, it's not what the point of,
or a disadvantage for a defender. Go, I just couldn't catch it.
When the rule was created, it was to discourage and to outlaw goal hangers.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't to say that you're offside by a Rizzler paper.
Yeah, I agree. Other football news: Arsenal have approached Declan Rice over a new long-term contract. He's got.
Yeah, I bet they have.
His existing deal has 2 years left to run. While there's also an option to extend, so it's not like it's a massive thing. But the Premier League leaders are looking for an England international to commit his prime years.
It is a big thing.
It's massive.
This is
gotta lock him down.
Yeah, this is the right move. This is the right move. They're doing the right thing. 2 years is actually that. It's a little bit of a dodgy period. 2 years, because look, Declan Rice strikes me as an incredibly loyal man. I don't think he has any ambition to do Arsenal over. But 2 years is that funny point, because he could start talking to clubs in 6 months, can't he?
Yeah.
And then it becomes...
Well, no, he's still got 2 years left to run in his deal, and he's got an option for an extra 3. He's got basically 3 years left. He can't start talking to clubs. He's got ages.
You can talk to clubs when you've got 18 months left, though.
Yeah, but he's got 2 years left to run, and there's an option as well. So,
yeah, but the option's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I think that it's right. I think that it's right to think about it now, because it avoids the problems, and we know what's happened. These things take time. We've seen the examples, haven't we, with Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold. We know how it can go. And when you're as good as Declan Rice, look, I don't think his head will be turned. I think he's very happy in London. I think he's very happy at Arsenal. And it's looking like Arsenal is going to satisfy his ambition. But when you're as good as he is, the biggest clubs in the world are looking. And they can offer you very, very interesting packages, however happy you are. You know, there's a world where Real Madrid come in, they go, do you want to play with Mbappe in the Bernabeu? He's good enough.
You've got 100%. Well, it's just like when your guy Liam Rossini was saying, Reece James has multiple chances to leave this fantastic football club. Obviously, behind the scenes, you don't know what offers on the table, but these players are
I would say with clubs like, let's use Declan Rice as the case study here. I don't think there's a club in world football that doesn't want to sign Declan Rice. No. Like Barcelona want to sign Declan Rice. They're probably not in the market for him because it's not practical. They probably haven't got the money. The financing's awkward at the moment. They don't think they can prize him away. But they want to.
I've got one for
and
you
if they win the
European
Cup,
might not want to.
They wouldn't want to sign him. Go on.
PSG. Because the way they play. Need high technicians who can really keep the ball.
I don't think there's a club that doesn't want to sign him. Maybe they don't. If say a market opportunity came up where Declan Rice was desperate to play for Paris Saint-Germain, I think they want it to happen.
Really?
I think he's an elite level player.
I agree. I do agree. People try to put stain on him in terms of, is he progressive enough in deep areas and this, that, and the other. Forget all that, mate. He's top. Declan Rice gives you. I know that he's given me a 7 before the game he's even started, minimum.
Yeah.
And it's probably just going to go up from there. He's ever reliable, always fit. The engine he's got on him's a joke. He is good on the ball. He's got great set piece delivery as well. He's powerful. He just needs to add some more goals to his game because he's actually good enough. Clean strike with the ball, technique's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's actually good enough.
I would challenge him.
I think he's a 15 goal a season kind of guy, and he doesn't get that. 15 all comps. I think he's good enough. Yeah.
Ability wise, I just don't know.
I think that's what he should be.
Yeah, it's full time at Wrexham, and they have won the game by 2-0 in that derby against Swansea. So a really good position for Wrexham.
You're playing hard and loose with the definition of the derby.
Well, 100. What they say? 100 foot. Yeah. But listen to what the boys said. They said it's been fierce in there. They said it's been incredible.
It's an all Welsh affair.
All Welsh affair, which means something. It means something, in there. Just really quickly, Eddie Howe's just come to the defence of Anthony Gordon as well. Just saying, there's been a lot of stuff. He said he wanted to clear something up. It's absolutely, he was willing to play against Barcelona. There's been a lot of comments. It was my decision not to start him based on the fact that he'd been ill in the morning and he had not attended a training session. Do you think Anthony Gordon will be at Newcastle United next season?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, who's going to want him?
Yeah. Doesn't mean got rate or.
No, I don't rate him that highly, do you?
He's all right. I think
he's all right, and he plays for a club that are all right.
Yeah.
2 and 2 makes
it's about right.
Cake. Yeah.
It's about right, isn't it?
He's playing at the right level.
Yeah. I think he'd have aspirations of obviously going higher, but I do agree. Yeah. I get what he's saying.
He can dream.
Yeah, he can. Rory, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I hope your team lose though on the weekend.
Weirdly, I kind of want your team to win.
Do you? I just want Villa out of there, don't you?
Yeah, get Villa out of the way. Yeah,
exactly. This has been Thank Football. It's Friday with me, Flex, and Rory. Thank you for being with us. We are handing over now to the boys on the sports bar. Max Scott and Mr. Beast. Akin Fenrir is in the building.
Tottenham Hotspur have delayed season ticket renewals, which normally open by the 15th of March until the end of the season. A statement read this to season ticket holders yesterday. We recognise the seriousness of the current league position and following discussions with our fan advisory board and the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, we can confirm the renewal window for 2026-27 will now remain open for an extended period until Sunday, the 7th of June. And this is because, of course, the relegation is a real threat now, and even the club are recognising that could be a possibility. This comes as talkSPORT understands that Igor Tudor has already alienated much of the Spurs squad. His treatment of goalkeeper Antonin Kinski during Tuesday night's hammering at Atletico Madrid did not go down with the dressing room. First of all, Crook, why don't you tell us, because you're the inside man here, what you understand the state of play to be?
I think